The following is a production of the Minnesota Sports Radio Network.
It's the Wells Fargo Minnesota Sports Prep Update for Friday, September 25th. I'm Ryan Phelps. Big news on the recruiting front yesterday in the world of Minnesota high school basketball. Amir Coffey followed in his father's footsteps. Richard Coffey was a starting forward for the Gophers under Clem Haskins from 1986 to 1990 and played on the Sweet 16 and Elite 8 teams. Now his son Amir, a four-star guard and the state's top senior, made his commitment to the University of Minnesota officially on Monday. The Hopkins standout's commitment could be a turning point for the Gophers basketball coach Richard Pitino as he works to keep many of the state's top players from leaving Minnesota. Amir had scholarship offers from other Big Ten schools such as Michigan, Michigan State, Indiana, and Wisconsin, and is ranked as the 33rd best player in the country by ESPN.com for the 2016 class. The 6'7" senior is the highest-ranked player to commit to Minnesota since former Hopkins star Royce White in 2009, and he'll be the first player to actually play any minutes since Chris Humphreys back in the early to mid-2000s. Last year, the Gophers got a commitment from De La Salle's Jarvis Johnson, who was the first high school player from Minnesota to sign with Pitino. Though he's healthy now, Amir Coffey missed his junior season after suffering a season-ending knee injury in December.
Takes the snap, looks to throw, nowhere to go, now rolls, now throws to the end zone, up in the air, caught Jackson Goosing! Touchdown Wolverine! Connor Cronin!
Exciting times in Week 5 Friday night. Aaron Buttenhoff with the call on KDJS as McRae defeated Hancock in double overtime. Many great games around the state Friday night, some great performances as well, but I don't know if anyone can top Benilde St. Margaret's junior running back Ricky Floyd. He ran for 459 yards on 24 carries in a 63-36 win over St. Louis Park. He was just 5 yards shy of the record, a 10-year-old record, set by Alexander Robinson of De La Salle. He rushed for 464 yards back in 2005. Friday night, Floyd scored 7 touchdowns, and now in just 5 games has 1,169 rushing yards this season.
Snap and handoff. Glasser to the near side. He's got a hole. Glasser to 35-40. He's off to the races. He beats the man to the 40, 30, 20, 15.
Joel Niemeyer with the call on KDUZ. Hutchinson wins 43-7 over Dassel-Cokato. Kendall Glasser had a pair of touchdowns, including that one from 75 yards out. Congratulations to Hutchinson head coach Andy Rosberg. That was his 150th career win.
Fisher dropping back to pass. Looking at Himaleski. Throws it up to him. Going up. Drew has a step. Caught. Touchdown number 2 for Drew Himaleski.
Ryan Rollick, Marshall Radio. Tigers cruise again, and how about that defense, allowing only 1.4 points a game?
Your first word probably wasn't something like finance, or savings, or ATM. But whatever that first word was, it opened up a world to you that was built on conversations. It's this exchange of ideas that Wells Fargo puts into practice every day, through listening, guiding, and planning. So when the conversation is about ways to grow your savings or your business, we'll be here to help you find the right answers. Because an open dialogue is what opens doors. Wells Fargo. Together we'll go far. Wells Fargo Bank, N.A.
I'm in a state of caffeination, got all my fingers shaking. Must have been my large Americano, mochaccino, macchiato. Now the family's gone to bed, and that's my favorite time to get some tips on better rates. Cause my State Farm guy answers late, and even when it's not my agent, someone's standing by so patient. Getting coverage questions answered helps me to relax. Get to a better state, State Farm.
Visit Brandy Warmbier's State Farm Insurance Office, located off Singletree and Flying Cloud Drive, online at brandywarmbier.com.
As thousands of athletes flock to football fields this fall, these kids are getting back on the bike.
It is a varsity sport. It's recognized by the Burnsville High School as a club sport. Okay. We have a lettering policy in place, so kids can letter.
It started in California in 2001, but it's a new sport in Minnesota high schools, just 4 years old, and still trying to find its place.
I know a lot of people are nervous about a new sport, like they see, oh, mountain biking, that could be fun, but I've never done it before.
The Minnesota High School Cycling League is co-ed, and riders can join in middle school.
I wanted to do it when I got into 7th grade, so I did it, and it's really fun. And then I found out there was a team when I was going into middle school, so I joined.
The sport has gone from 200 to 900 riders in the first few years. And like the growth, the learning curve is just as sharp.
We take them from basically no real off-road skills to being competent on the trail within the first probably 3 or 4 weeks.
Still, the skill level is quite diverse, and they're okay with that.
We'll have kids that are 10 minutes behind the first people, but they're still enjoying it, so it's fun to see that.
The riders learn a variety of skills, and also to overcome adversity.
There's a lot of action, and it's like spot on. You have to be ready for something that happens on the trail. Like you get a flat tire, you have to change the flat. A lot of roots, rocks. It's never straight. It's always, straight sometimes. It's always curved, up a hill, down a hill. There's always obstacles in your way.
These kids who haven't found their stride with a typical team sport are pedaling to success off the beaten path.
It's just you and the course and a few competitors, so that part is nice for some of those people that didn't quite fit in well on a team.
They've found their team on the trail, and maybe a little about themselves along the way. In Burnsville, I'm Ryan Phelps for Minnesota Prep Spotlight.
There to play it back row, far side. Kylie Bravich. She clipped a little bit of the block on the way through, but it fell in for the point for the Rams.
Zach Swanson from Wild 102 in Roseau checking in with some volleyball highlights from Tuesday night. Bemidji ended up winning that game over the Rams 3-0, but that's not why I bring this up. The latest state rankings are posted at our website, minnesotascores.net, and there are some changes. Egan jumps up 5 spots from number 6 up to number 1 to lead the Class 3A charts. They're followed by Prior Lake, Lakeville South, Roseville, and Eden Prairie, who slid down from number 2. Belle Plaine still on top in Class 2A, followed by Stewartville, St. Croix Lutheran, Casson Manorville, and Concordia. They're up 3 spots from 8. And in 1A, the top 5 looks very similar to last week, just a little shuffling. Bethlehem Academy, the perennial power, still on top. Then TMB, Mabel Canton, Mare Lutheran, and Heritage Christian. Check out the full state rankings for volleyball and all your favorite fall sports at minnesotascores.net. In other news, the best cross-country weekend of the regular season is coming up this Saturday. The Roy Griak Invitational, featuring more than 100 boys and 100 girls teams, will run at the Les Bolstead Golf Course. That's at the University of Minnesota, just west of the state fairgrounds. To the north, more than 6,000 runners will be participating in the Malacca Mega Meet at the Stones Throw Golf Course. The annual Apple Valley Invitational featuring Edina, St. Michael, Albertville, Lakeville North, and the Wayzata boys team is also taking place. And as we get set for Week 6 of high school football, check out our website for our thorough countdown to kickoff coverage.
I like saving money. I mean, it's not like I have a purse stuffed with coupons or... Okay, I do. The other day, I went into Wells Fargo to get help with a car loan.
Good news. You qualify for our double discount promotion. Get double the interest rate discount we normally give on select new loans and lines of credit just for being a Wells Fargo checking package customer.
And the best part, I didn't even need a coupon.
Come to Wells Fargo to discuss how the double discount promotion can help with the interest rate on your new loan or line of credit. Wells Fargo. Together we'll go far. Subject to credit qualification. Wells Fargo Bank N.A. Equal housing lender.
Before we know it, the snow will be blowing and the temperatures will be dropping, and those 6 and 12-volt batteries may need to be charged and stored or charged up for the weather ahead of us. If you're in the market for a battery charger that has been rated number 1 in the last 2 years, stop by your local Hardware Hank and see what we have from Schumacher. From battery chargers to instant power jump starters, Schumacher and Hardware Hank have the product you need.
You've got a lot more going for you with Hank, Hardware Hank.
It's time for our Hardware Hank Nuts and Bolts Athletes of the Week, which are selected every Tuesday based on your nominations to minnesotascores.net. Each week we select 2 winners, one from the Metro and one from Greater Minnesota. The outstate winner is Marina Hayden from Belle Plaine Volleyball, and the Metro winner is Danny Klebeck from Spring Lake Park Football. The Wells Fargo Minnesota Sports Prep Update can be heard right here every Monday through Friday, and for more coverage you can find us on the web at minnesotascores.net. That's Minnesota-scores.net. I'm Ryan Phelps on Minnesota Sports Radio.
During this break in the action, I'd like to thank you for watching and ask for your assistance. In addition to live streaming games like this one, PSB Media also produces video commercials for clients. If someone you know is trying to grow their business, tell them to consider contacting production at psbmn.com. The internet is a powerful marketing tool, but due to its size, it can be difficult for messages to reach the right ears. Optimize their valuable time and money. PSB Video will help drive localized traffic to the client's website. Using keyword-driven content, PSB Video can improve where businesses appear in search results. Nearer to the top results means more clicks and more business. So please tell those business owners you know to work smarter, not harder, by considering PSB Production. Find out more by emailing production@psbmn.com.
We're speaking with Rob Friend at the mulch store. Rob, once people have finished up trimming those trees or raking those leaves, how easy is it for them to stop in at the mulch store to drop off those materials, or maybe even pick up some mulch for next year?
Well, if you want to stop in and drop off, you come in, check in at the gate attendant, and they'll point you in the right direction after you pay a small fee. And if you're ready to pick up something to do a final garden or mulch project, pick out the product you want, pay for the fee, and we'll load up a trailer or a pickup truck if you have that. If not, we do have delivery available.
And of course, you guys have locations all over the metro area.
That's right. For locations and more information on delivery, you can check us out at our website, mulchstoremn.com.
The Sun Current is proud to be your community news leader for over 50 years. Each week, you can read their in-depth coverage on local government, school district news, high school sports matchups, community events, and newsmakers. The Sun Current's website is now mobile user-friendly and provides breaking local news coverage daily. Check it out at current.mnsun.com.
The following is a production of the Minnesota Sports Radio Network.
Hut! Looking out to the right side, going deep down the field, wide open, caught at the 5, into the end zone for the touchdown.
RG5 is loose on the first play of the second quarter. No one's going to catch the world-class sprinter.
Flat, now they'll fire out, going up for Tanner Sirks on the corner route, caught, touchdown, Tanner Sirks, 25 yards.
Give is to Gladys, he'll look for the goal line, dive forward for the touchdown.
Into the 15-yard line, he's up across the 30 to the 40, 45-50 into RTR territory, look out! He is going to go. Wabakee 10-5 touchdown. RTR.
45 into Melrose territory. He's off and running.
Here's the handoff to Prairie into the end zone. Touchdown Bulldogs.
9-yard line, and he's going to bring it back all the way into the end zone. And it's a Silver Streak touchdown.
RG5, 84 yards for the touchdown.
Let him up.
Hello, football fans, and welcome to Minnesota Sports Radio's presentation of the Prep Football Week in Review. I'm Ryan Phelps, broadcasting all across the Minnesota Sports Radio Network and streaming on the web at minnesotascores.net. That's minnesota-scores.net. The 2015 regular season is winding down, and postseason potential is on everyone's mind. While streaks are on the line tonight, so too are district championships. We'll break it all down tonight, so let's get started with your countdown to kickoff.
Max set him up. We got first down.
And Friday means football. We're already heading into Week 6 of the 2015 season here in Minnesota, which means homecoming festivities at a lot of schools. Oh, and also district titles may be on the line. But we'll start with an interesting note outside the state lines. An assistant football coach accused of instructing 2 players to hit a referee during a high school game in Texas has resigned. Did you hear about this one? The video has gone viral. Assistant coach Mac Breed told players to retaliate against an official in the closing minutes of John Jay High School's game earlier this month. The players had told coaches earlier in the game that referees had been directing racial slurs at them. Robert Watts, the referee who was hit, denied using any racial slur. Now back to the North Star State. The full Week 6 schedule, which can be found at minnesotascores.net, is highlighted by 3 battles of the unbeatens. In the Metro, a couple of surprises. Mound West Tonka at Minneapolis Henry. Way up north, Otter Tail Central at United North Central. And out west, Minneota takes on Tracy Milroy Ballatin. And speaking of undefeated teams, they're dropping like flies. 75 of them were 3-0, just 55 went 4-0, and now we're down to 44 teams that are 5-0. We focus today on Polk County West, a co-op between East Grand Forks Sacred Heart and Climax Fisher. This is just their second year as a co-op, but they seem to be putting things together. Last season they got off to a slow start, finishing with a record of just 2-6, and prior to the co-op, Sacred Heart had lost 30 games in a row. Climax Fisher didn't fare much better. In the 2 seasons leading up to the co-op, they had a combined record of just 4 wins and 14 losses. 2 of those victories came against Sacred Heart. And now here they are in 2015, just their second year as the Polk County West Thunder. They're undefeated at 5-0 and could remain undefeated as tonight they travel to 1-4 Lake Park Audubon. And that's why we follow the losing streaks. Great to see these programs have success after a long drought. Right now, the longest drought belongs to Red Lake. Our records go back to 2005, and they haven't won in that time. 43 games. Here's to the Warriors getting things back on track, although it'll be tough tonight as they play host to 4-1 Pillager. Forest Lake is behind them with a 35-game losing streak, and they're really not that bad. They just face really tough teams and big schools all season long. Kingsland is at 30 games, RTR at 26, and Albert Lee rounds out the top 5 with 24 straight losses. But they face undefeated Marshall tonight. Eden Prairie has the state's longest active winning streak at 35 games, but they'll have their hands full tonight as 4-1 Prairie Lake comes to town. Eden Prairie is the defending 6A champs. Grand Meadow, the 9-man champs, have won 27 straight. And Minneota's 18-game winning streak is on the line tonight. In our Battle of the Unbeatens, they face Tracy Milroy Ballatin on the road. The Vikings were 1A champs last year. Rochester Lourdes in 3A has won 18 straight as well. Becker, the 4A champs, are on a tear this year. They've won 17 in a row. And Mankato West won it all last year in 5A. They're looking for their 11th straight win, but face a tough foe tonight as they travel to Red Wing. Don't go anywhere, folks. There's still plenty more coming up on the Prep Football Week in Review as we take a look at the dynamite defenses in Minnesota. Stick around.
You're listening to Ryan Phelps.
Do I look stupid to you?
On the Minnesota Sports Radio Network.
If you're in the market to update or just install a new water softener system and are truly looking to experience clean, soft water, don't look any further than your local Hardware Hank and Water Boss. Hardware Hank can help you pick the Water Boss system that can solve all your home's water treatment needs. If you've been suffering from the smells and stains associated with hard water, visit your Hardware Hank soon and learn how easy Water Boss is to install and how it can manage your water needs on a daily basis.
You got a lot more going for you with Hank, Hardware Hank.
I like saving money. I mean, it's not like I have a purse stuffed with coupons or... Okay, I do. The other day, I went into Wells Fargo to get help with a car loan.
Good news. You qualify for our double discount promotion. Get double the interest rate discount we normally give on select new loans and lines of credit just for being a Wells Fargo checking package customer.
And the best part, I didn't even need a coupon.
Come to Wells Fargo to discuss how the double discount promotion can help with the interest rate on your new loan or line of credit. Wells Fargo. Together we'll go far. Subject to credit qualification. Wells Fargo Bank N.A. Equal housing lender.
You're listening to Minnesota Sports Radio.
If you're enjoying tonight's football game from the comfort of your own home, why not go out next week and get some great food and also watch Eden Prairie football? The Tavern on 4 and 5 will be showing PSB's broadcasts of Eden Prairie football on the big screen, so check it out. It's the Tavern on 4 and 5.
You're listening to Ryan Phelps.
In this case, Ryan's still a little afraid of doing something wrong or illegal.
On the Minnesota Sports Radio Network.
Welcome back to Minnesota Sports Radio's presentation of the Prep Football Week in Review. I'm Ryan Phelps. In the last segment, I mentioned Albert Lee trying to snap a long losing streak while facing Marshall tonight. And with all due respect to the Tigers, the Albert Lee Tigers, that is, the Marshall Tigers may not allow a single point. They've outscored their opponents this year 51 to 1.4. That's right, they've allowed 1.4 points a game. So has Mound West Tonka. Those two lead the state. Walker, Hackensack, Akeley right behind them at 2.8 per game. United North Central 3.2. Stewartville 3.8. And the somewhat new co-op of Tri-City United allows just 4 points a game. And how about Spring Grove? They've averaged nearly 64 points a game on offense, followed by Mahnomen, Marshall, Hermantown. And look at Ely, scoring 51.6 points a game.
You got to get your head in the game. Are you in the game?
Duluth-Denfeld is in the game. They snapped a 14-game losing streak with a 27-20 victory over Proctor last Friday. The Hunters, along with Duluth East, won on the same night for the first time since September 9th, 2007. When the Greyhounds defeated North Branch 28-27 last Friday, it marked the first time since the 2012 season opener that Duluth East had defeated an opponent other than Denfeld. And if you checked out the QRF rankings on MinnesotaScores.net, Eden Prairie and Lakeville North are tied atop the Class 6A rankings, each with 142.9 points. Mankato West is on top in the 5A standings. Orono is on top in the QRF in 4A. Albany, number 1 in 3A. How about Pipestone on top in the 2A charts? In 1A, we go to the inner city and find Minneapolis North on top. And in 9-man, it's Waban. The QRF is used by the Minnesota State High School League to help seed many sections around Minnesota. So it'll be a hot topic in the coming weeks as we approach the playoffs. The QRF, or Quality Results formula, can be found exclusively at Minnesota-Scores.net. And that'll do it for this Week 6 edition of the Prep Football Week in Review. For more coverage, go check out our site, MinnesotaScores.net. It's a great resource for all your football needs. And we'll be back with more tonight after your game with After the Game, where we break down scores and highlights from all across the state. Tonight is about homecomings and heartbreaks. But we should have some great weather throughout much of the state. So check out our statewide schedule and get out to a game in your area tonight. Best of luck to all the teams competing, and until next time, this is Ryan Phelps saying so long from the Minnesota Sports Studios.
It's time for another round of live, local, play-by-play coverage of Southwest Metro Sports on PSB Media.
1-1, Middlestead to Lieberman, and he scores! Pretty amazing.
Watch the teamwork, tradition, and all-out competition unfold live on any streaming device.
Ball up the middle, could be two, and that'll retire the Jaguars 6-3. The Edina Hornets win their third consecutive game. Great defense. Ryan Graff tries to center, and he does. 1-2 into the goal.
PSB Media's coverage of tonight's game is brought to you by The Malt Store, Brandy Warm Beer's State Farm Insurance Office, The Sun Current, Noodles & Company, Athlete PT, The Tavern on 4 and 5, and in partnership with Minnesota Football Magazine and BEC TV.
On the run, Bame able to finish with the offhand. Nice move by the senior.
Catch all of the action all season long on your home for Southwest Metro Sports. PSB Media.
Deflects it in deep. Berger plays away from him to the left wing boards. That bounces off a skate. Turned over to Aguilar. Shot to save. Score! Aguilar the shot. The rebound.
Game time is coming up next.
Now going to you.
Good evening, everyone. Happy Friday. Beautiful late September day here from Prairie Stadium in Eden Prairie. Kevin Ford, Brett Johnson with your coverage tonight of the top-ranked Eden Prairie Eagles as they host on homecoming night the Prior Lake Lakers, who enter tonight's play ranked number 7 in the AP state rankings. Both these two teams figure to be contenders for the state title. Obviously, Eden Prairie the favorite, having won 4 consecutive. We got the Star-Spangled Banner as well as an interview with Mike Grant coming up.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and go to that interview with Mike Grant right now while we listen in on the Star-Spangled Banner. Banner, that is.
Marching band's rendition of the Star-Spangled Banner, and now to that interview Brian Whitey conducted with head coach Mike Grant.
All right, Coach, just talk about J.D. over these past couple weeks. He's had a very dominant play. Just talk about his play lately.
Well, he's playing at a very high level. He hasn't had a lot of carries. We're trying to keep him healthy, to get us late in the year. But, tonight might be a night where he's got to carry the ball 30 times to beat Prairie. At it, we feel pretty good that good things will happen.
Prior Lake, very strong defensively, kind of back like when we played Maple Grove a couple weeks ago. Just talk about the approach that you can take tonight.
Well, we just, honestly just kind of do what we do. We run a few things, see how it goes, and, they're going to have to make decisions how to defend us, and we'll figure that out in the first quarter, and hopefully we can keep it close and, win the game in the end like we did Totino and Maple Grove.
Offensively, it kind of to get going against Maple Grove, so what's it going to take to get the offense going here early in the game?
Well, honestly, we only had 7 plays in the first half, so we felt like we moved the ball against Maple Grove. We just couldn't stop them. They just played that well, and they ran, controlled the ball. They did everything that we normally do, except our defense made 3 big stops and had an interception, 2 fourth-down stops. And so that's the type of thing you got to do again. Step up, make stops, and keep that score down to a minimum.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck today.
Right,
Back up to you guys up in the booth.
Just about set to get underway for 2015 homecoming here for Eden Prairie. They will receive the opening kickoff. Preparing to kick this one away is number 5, Jason Peter. He splits time as the special teams kicker. This one hit to the up back and up the 25-yard line. A nice break of a tackle into the open field. Graham Teal, he's bumped out of bounds at the 46-yard line. Good starting field position for the top-ranked Eden Prairie Eagles entering the play tonight. 5-0 this season, averaging, looks like 42 points per game, allowing just 12.8. And of course, in the midst of a 35-game winning streak, this team is loaded year after year under the guidance of Mike Grant. Jackson Randall rolls out, looks over the top, blocked and almost intercepted. Great pursuit and recognition by number 21 of the defense for Prior Lake, Jack Cortez, a senior defensive back, a big one at that, 6'3", 180 pounds, got those big mitts up there and almost made a J.J. Watt type play.
Yeah, take a look at the replay. Great job to read that pass and go in and rush the quarterback Randall rather than play back into coverage. Good decision, breaks it up and forces 2nd and 10. Interesting start to see Eden Prairie actually begin the game with a pass.
Well, it wasn't for quite a while against Maple Grove that they even had the offense going. J.D. Spielman busts loose to the outside. There is a flag on the play, able to make a couple men miss. Tiptoes on the sidelines, pushed out of bounds. Kind of steers down the defender that pushed him out. Might have been a late hit, but likely coming back in the way of a hold as the flag was thrown right at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, very nice run there by J.D. Spielman, despite the likely penalty, which was against the Eagles. But, man, he has been in some kind of zone over these past few weeks. Almost been unstoppable. Grant Norland, our color commentator, not joining us this week, kind of compared him to Barry Sanders, which I think is a very good comparison. He can just shake and bake and make anybody miss that he wants. He's really, really been playing well.
You're saying that pretty lightly. Last week, 3 rushes, 69 yards and a touchdown, average of 23 yards per carry. Week before, 7 rushes, 142 yards, average of 20 yards per carry. And the week before that, 4 rushes, 91 yards, over 23 yards per carry. As this time he's tripped up just at the line of scrimmage and gains about 3 back to bring up 3rd down and 17 for this season. The Nebraska-bound special teamer and cornerback as he projects for college. 34 rushes, 417 yards, and 6 touchdowns. Of course, he also has interception return touchdown, punt return, and kickoff return touchdowns as well. He's averaging 12.3 yards per carry, and a lot more if you factor in all the times he touches the football. 3rd down and 15, a flag flies. And it'll be encroachment on Prior Lake. So what was 3rd and a mile is now 3rd down and just about 10. 3rd down and 11, we'll call it. Early opening minutes here. 3rd and 11, Randall winds up, pass tipped and intercepted. First turnover of the season for the quarterback, Randall, and it's brought back to Eden Prairie territory at the 45. Number 7 makes the pick. That's Nick Raditz. He's the team leader in sacks and makes a play on the tip ball.
Boy, that's a way to get going defensively if you're Prior Lake. As you said, Kevin, Eden Prairie, not a team that throws a whole lot of interceptions over the past few years, but that is a big-time turnover on a 3rd and long play as well. Normally you see teams like to keep it safe in very 3rd and long situations, but Prior Lake in business to start off this game.
most definitely obvious passing situation, and Prior Lake dropped their linebackers back in coverage, and a great job there on that sequence. A leaping grab over on the far side. The ball slung out there to number 88, the team's leading wide receiver, Tyler Knutson. He'll make the catch and set up a very manageable second down and under a yard. Jimmy Larson is the starting quarterback. Came into tonight about 55% completion percentage, 668 yards, 4 touchdowns against 3 interceptions. Awfully quiet last week, but it was the Andrew Owudunni show. 181 of his season total yards and 2 touchdowns came in that victory over Edina, defeating the Hornets 25-15. Their only loss this season coming in this district play against Wayzata. The Prior Lake Lakers fell by a score of 24-17.
And just a note on that game, Prior Lake was on the verge of winning. They had the ball and the lead, I think, with less than 5 minutes left, and they threw a pick 6, which gave Wayzata the lead. So that was a very winnable game for the Lakers a couple weeks ago against the Trojans.
Owudunni is bottled up and driven backward by a big group of Eden Prairie Eagles celebrating the play. And first hitter was Carter Coughlin, Minnesota-bound linebacker.
Well, I'll tell you what, Prior Lake had 2nd and 1, but they are going to give them the first down. I thought they were going to bring up 4th and 1. I was going to say a heck of a job by the defense, but not easy moving there for the Prior Lake running game thus far.
Yeah, the forward progress got them the first down, but it was still a statement play by the Eagles' front 4. 1st and 10 from the 35. Prior Lake, their first series. Quick screen out to the left off the flat. Able to make one man miss behind a lead block, and then kind of trips up over his own teammate. Number 2, Jacob Simonson with the reception, his 10th of the season. Gain of 7 on that one. Larson now 2 for 2 passing for 16 yards. 2nd down and 3. The Lakers coached by Matthew Gegenheimer. Been around quite a while, seen this program turn into annual contenders as Owudunni shows off his power attack, brings 3 Eagles down the field and into the red zone for the first time for either team tonight. 4 minutes into this contest, that'll be a first down and more to the 19. Gain of 9 on that one.
Seems like we see this same story every week where opponents usually get a good first drive against this Eden Prairie defense before the Eagles tighten up. The problem has been for several opponents they've had this season is cashing in once you get their opportunities against this very good EP defense.
Yeah, finishing off those drives has been an issue for many teams. We'll see what Prior Lake can do. Owudunni almost squirted loose. A good stop by number 41 for Eden Prairie, Sean McNiff, the senior 205-pound linebacker. Starters on D for Eden Prairie. Coughlin, Danny Anderson, and McNiff. McNiff making one of his first starts with the team. Marco Ressman, Cal Lundy, Ben Price, and Tommy Fuller are in the secondary. Rolls out.
Good play fake.
Good pass catch to Simonson, looking for pay dirt. He spins his way in and finds the end zone. We have no signal yet, but it is a touchdown.
What a play fake there by the quarterback. We'll rewind that one more time, but had the defense a little fooled on that play, and a good job to lift that over the Eden Prairie lineman, and then sneaks into the end zone, and boy, Prior Lake cashes in, and they're up 6-0.
Nice little crossing route, almost a drag across the defense. The defensive end for the Eagles recognized the play, just misjudged the paw swat, and great placement on the pass. Larson to Simonson, his first touchdown of the season, and the Lakers have cashed in first on that interception by Randall and lead Eden Prairie 7-0. You're watching PSP.
And we're joined by Rob Friend at the Mulch Store. Rob, a lot of people are finishing up those fall projects, whether it's trimming trees or getting rid of all those leaves. What can people do with those materials once they're done?
Well, they can bring their yard waste into any of our locations and dispose of it for a small fee. And after it's disposed of, we then process it and turn it into compost.
It's also a very easy, straightforward process to stop in at any of those Mulch Store locations, correct?
You just pull into any of the sites, you check in with the gate attendant and pay your small fee, and you're all set to go.
And if people would like more information about the great products and services the Mulch Store offers, what's your website?
mulchstoremn.com.
7-0, the Lakers on top of Eden Prairie on homecoming night for Eden Prairie. 7 points off turnovers. The first interception thrown by an Eagles passer this season leads to 7. A 12-yard touchdown catch and run for Jacob Simonson, his 12th catch of the year and first receiving touchdown. Jimmy Larson looked very solid on the drive. The offense looked poised, and as Brett and I were talking about, a lot of teams get those early opportunities before the Eagles' D makes adjustments, but unfortunately for previous opponents, they really couldn't capitalize, and soon enough Eden Prairie was off to the races and it was a rout, but Prior Lake able to stay within themselves and pick up an early touchdown. Now we'll see what Eden Prairie can do with Prior Lake's defense all jacked up. 6-yard gain for Spielman on first down.
It's interesting during that pregame interview that our sideline guy Brian had with Mike Grant, with Coach Grant saying this might be the type of game where Spielman has to carry the ball a little bit more than he's used to. Usually been around anywhere from 5 to 10 carries a game, but Coach was saying maybe 20, 30 carries a game if necessary in this one.
Spielman into open space, dances along the near sideline and moves the chains for the Eagles. As Brett mentioned, in a zone, and once he gets out into open space, really no one can bring him down. You just got to use the sideline to your advantage and try to guide him.
Yeah, absolutely. You see again there, just some great shifty moves. He is so great on those quick little stutter steps.
A run up the middle. This one handed off to Obert. He's coming to his own of late. One of 3 ball carriers for the Eagles, averaging over 10 yards per carry. DJ Conrad, Spielman, and Obert, the 3, but I guess you could say 11 carries for 125 yards. Maybe not enough rushes to qualify, but still impressive start to the season for him.
Yeah, let's go ahead and send things down to our sideline guy. Brian Whitey has a report from the sideline.
So far to start the game, offense when it came back to the bench, talking about not blocking with their hands, putting a shoulder in someone playing Eden Prairie ball. Defense, players are really the ones that are upset the most. Coach is saying it's just one series, got to calm down. Back up to you guys.
Spielman to the outside again, makes the man miss. He's looking for the home run, and he's going to score untouched all the way to the end zone from 32 yards out. The burner puts it into high gear, and no one could find the angle for the Lakers defense. Eden Prairie has the answer with the legs of Spielman.
Boy, he is something special. Just pure speed there. Not really a whole lot of moves. He just blew past the Prior Lake defense. And that's a big response there by Eden Prairie. They're not used to trailing in really any ball game, but Spielman with a big run to make it 7-6 pending the extra point.
The extra point to try is up and good by Antonio Montero. And we are tied 7-7. J.D. Spielman in the zone on another level. Goes untouched 32 yards to pay dirt. You're watching PS. 7-7 your score. Both offenses lighting it up in the last few seconds. J.D. Spielman continues his surge, averaging over 12 yards per carry coming in, 20 yards per carry if you're looking at the last 3 weeks' performances, and scores untouched from 32 yards out. No Prior Lake defender, no matter the angle they took, could even get near the scat back for the Eagles on that touchdown run. Now we have a false start on Prior Lake. They've got to maintain their poise. I know it's just one false start. We'll see how this drive forms for them. But that's kind of the thing with Eden Prairie. You know, it's a psychological game as well as the physical and the talent. That they can find ways to sap you of your energy or make you start doubting yourselves, even if the opposition is equally as talented as Eden Prairie. And that pretty much explains why they have a 35-game winning streak and has won 4 consecutive titles. Handoff inside goes nowhere. Eden Prairie's defense making those adjustments. Get a tackle for a loss. Carter Coughlin in on the stop, along with number 31, Dan Anderson, who has a sack and a couple TFLs this season.
We'll see if Prior Lake can drop here, 2nd and 15. Not that great start with the turnover, then the touchdown, but not going in the right direction here on this drive response. A lot of early motion there. Prior Lake's going to be dropped back even further. And don't forget, if you'd like to contact us here in the broadcast booth throughout the game, we're announcers at psbmn.com, announcers at psbmn.com. You can also follow us on Twitter at psbmn for the latest on all the Southwest Metro sports we cover. Eden Prairie, Jefferson, Kennedy, Chanhassen at psbmn. Lots of different ways to get a hold of us.
And later on in the broadcast, we'll have a trivia question for a couple Noodles coupons to give away. If you don't win the trivia, you can always go to our website, find our deals page, and order some Noodles coupons. Just over $5 for a $10 Noodles coupon value. Pass incomplete. Some contact made, but it was good timing by the defensive back. The target was number 31, Keaton Kaisersat.
Yeah, Prior Lake pretty aggressive there on that second and very long play to try to make it manageable, but good defense play there by Eden Prairie with a little bit of contact. I think Carson was on the coverage there for the Eagles.
Ben Price. He is a returning player. Carson graduated.
That's right, yeah.
But still, both good defensive backs.
I named someone who at least played for the team.
Yes.
At some point.
Unless you were referring to some other guy, and I just gave you credit for a Carson. Airing it out to the near sideline, and it's overthrown. Cal Lundy, the defensive back for the Eagles, was the closest player. So Eden Prairie responds, forces a 3-and-out, courtesy of a couple of false start penalties on Prior Lake. And just like that, J.D. Spielman, back to return this punt, could get the ball in his hands again.
Yeah, always very dangerous when he returns the ball. He had that game against Maple Grove where he just put up unbelievable numbers, where he had a punt return for a touchdown, a kick return for a touchdown, a rushing touchdown, and a sack and pick. Look out here.
And there's a block, goes out of the back of the end zone. That'll be a safety for Eden Prairie. Excellent block.
Yeah,
as the ball was just mishandled by the punter, went right through his hands. And it looks like Cal Lundy almost had an opportunity of scoring the touchdown. It would have been a third of the season. Has 2 pick sixes. But unable to finish that one off. Eden Prairie, though, does take its first lead of the night, courtesy of the bad catch.
Yeah, you're right, Kevin. And just went through the punter's hands. It didn't look like necessarily a bad long snap. It was a little bit on the high side, but that's a tough break there for the Lakers. But fortunately for them, you probably take giving up the safety rather than a touchdown in that situation. But theoretically, Eagles should get pretty good field position after this free kick. Also like to remind you, tonight's broadcast brought to you by the Tavern on 4 and 5. If you'd like to watch the Wayzata Eden Prairie game in 2 weeks, they'll be showing it at the Tavern on 4 and 5. Lots of great dishes they have over at that restaurant. Check it out, Tavern on 4 and 5, just blocks from Eden Prairie High School.
But J.D. Spielman an opportunity to field this one. It'll be taken down from behind. Excellent pursuit on the blind side by Tyler Joas, the senior linebacker. Good special teams coverage, as we all know. Spielman looks to get to the outside edges and can put on the speed. Joas able to come from behind as Spielman was hesitating and keep it at a minimal gain. 1st and 10 for the offense. Zog in at quarterback now. Jackson Randall got the start. We've seen them interchange pretty consistently throughout the beginning of the season, less so more recently. But Randall does have that interception, so an opportunity to see Zog, whose numbers have been outstanding this year, but despite that was losing some playing time the past few weeks to Randall.
Yeah, Randall, especially over the past 2 weeks, has been seeing the majority of the snaps, especially towards the second half of some ball games. In fact, it's Maple Grove. I think he played the entire second half. And as you think you were kind of alluding to, Kevin, neither quarterback has necessarily done a poor job. It's just kind of a case of whichever QB the coach thinks is getting the offense in a better rhythm, as both Zog and Randall have put up some decent numbers for the Eden Prairie offense.
Well, I'm not taking anything away from Randall or questioning the coaching staff, but how often have you seen a guy kind of get benched who has close to a perfect quarterback rating? Zog entering tonight's play 9 of 11, over 240 yards and 2 touchdowns.
You almost have to hold your breath every time Spielman carries the ball. A nice burst of speed. Couldn't quite break through that hole, but still, even despite that, breaks off a pretty good gain.
Yeah, gains about 10 on his 6th carry of the night. Already up over 60 yards rushing. So pretty close to his 12 yards per carry average. You'd think that's not sustainable, and yet every week he improves. Alec Hetherington fighting through some tacklers. Great gang job by the Prior Lake defense. First opportunity to mention this guy's name, Jamal Johnson, anchors one technique nose tackle for the Lakers. 6'1", 319-pounder. And he got the initial penetration. The rest of his team finished off the tackle, but Hetherington picked up the first down. Inside the 45 of Prior Lake, quick bubble out to Kyle Connolly. He can run in space just like Spielman, and he may have picked up a first down. There's a late hit as a flag flies as well. That's what I'm guessing it is, a late hit. So maybe a first down on the catch and run, and an additional yardage for the penalty.
Yeah, Prior Lake kind of going in the wrong direction here, both offensively and defensively. Don't want to give this offense any extra yards, as this is going to move them, I believe, half the distance to the goal.
So it wasn't
very good scoring position.
Sorry about that. It wasn't a late hit, but high school rules prior to this season, to follow in accordance with what college and the NFL is doing, with concussion protocols being more and more serious. Not allowed to make contact with the player's helmet, and that was what the penalty was. Player looked like inadvertently hit Connolly's helmet, so Eden Prairie in the red zone. First time tonight. He got that 32-yard touchdown. Zog will keep it himself, try to squeeze through a couple defenders, and falls ahead to the 15-yard line. Gain of about 2. Not too much of a running quarterback, but a little more so than Jackson Randall. And we've seen that naked rollout bootleg by Zog a couple times this season. Handoff goes to Spielman in the backfield, makes a man miss, now puts on the speed, cuts it back, still able to stay in bounds, but decides to step out when he sees there's nowhere else to go.
That's like ballerina-type balance right there. Just stopped on a dime right on the sideline. Didn't pick up any extra yardage, but that is still very impressive. Take a look at that here on the replay. Just stopping on the dime right there and tried to make that move, but, man, he is one talented athlete.
I don't have the vocabulary to describe him, which is unfortunate. I wish I did. That was a gain of 7. 3rd down and 2. Hetherington following his block, still on his feet, fighting ahead. And he's down inside the 3. Nice blocking out in front by the right side of the Eden Prairie line. Line center, Matt Osanasic anchors that team. Jake Beaver, Swanson, been a couple years starter at the guard positions. Jacob Miller and Tristan Shaughnessy are the starting tackles. Extra linemen in for this goal line rush. Hetherington stood up. Great defense. And a stop by number 46, it looks like. 48 checked that, Jared Benson, a junior linebacker.
How often do you see Alec Hetherington stood up like that in a short yardage situation? It seems like he's almost guaranteed to get 2 or 3 yards every carry just with how much power he runs with and how tough he is to bring down. That's an impressive job there by that Prairie Lake defensive line.
So 2nd down and goal. The handoff to Hetherington, dives forward, and he finds the end zone. Eden Prairie scores for the 2nd time tonight. And pending the extra point, will take a 2-possession lead.
Well, he can stop Hetherington once, but twice is going to be pretty tough. He's just such a big guy who runs with so much forward momentum. And as you said, Eden Prairie has a chance to take that 2-possession lead due to that safety they had a couple of minutes ago, and Prairie Lake had trouble punting in their own territory.
Montero on to try the extra point. Randall the holder. Almost blocked, but able to push it through. And it is a 2-possession lead for the Eagles at 16-7. Just under a minute to go in the first quarter as you're watching a homecoming on PSB Media.
During this break in the action, I'd like to thank you for watching and ask for your assistance. In addition to live streaming games like this one, PSB Media also produces video commercials for clients. If someone you know is trying to grow their business, tell them to consider contacting production at psbmn.com. The internet is a powerful marketing tool, but due to its size, it can be difficult for messages to reach the right ears. Optimize their valuable time and money. PSB Video will help drive localized traffic to the client's website. Using keyword-driven content, PSB Video can improve where businesses appear in search results. Nearer to the top results means more clicks and more business. So please, tell those business owners you know to work smarter, not harder, by considering PSB Production. Find out more by emailing production@psbmn.com.
Kickoff by Montero returned about 17 yards to the 17. Good locational kick to the far right side. And Prairie Lake's offense begins anew. 3rd series for them tonight. First time marched down the field 45 yards with a play of about 7 or 8 plays. Didn't keep track exactly. But we're very fluid offensively following an interception on the 3rd down pass from Randall. But their 2nd series went nowhere, went backward. 3 plays, minus 10 yards, and were forced to punt. Here a quick hitter over the middle to Tyler Knutson will move the chains. So good to see if you're a Prairie Lake fan there, able to respond after 3 straight scores by the Eagles.
Yeah, this team does have a lot of poise, I should say. They've had some success over the past few years making some state tournaments and giving a lot of these state powerhouses some very tough battles. They've been kind of an up-and-coming program over the past 5 years.
The motion handoff goes to Owa Dunning, and he can't really get the legs going. Stopped almost immediately, maybe picks up 2. The Eagles all over him on that play.
And it looks like we're now going to go towards the end of the first quarter, 16-7. How about Eden Prairie's response after that early turnover and the Prior Lake touchdown?
So 16-7, Eden Prairie with the advantage over Prior Lake. As you're watching PSB.
Great food and great sports. It's the Tavern on 4 and 5 in Eden Prairie. This season, the Tavern on 4 and 5 will be showing PSB broadcasts of Eden Prairie football and hockey on their big screen TVs. So make it a night out. Get some great food while watching your Eden Prairie Eagles at the Tavern on 4 and 5. Some of their classics include the Mediterranean Pizza, Tavern Turkey Burger, as well as delicious breakfasts that are served 7 days a week. That's the Tavern on 4 and 5, just blocks from Eden Prairie High School.
You're watching high school football on PSB Media. We have a sideline report from Brian Whitey talking about what he's seen here in this first quarter.
Down here on the field, offensively, they are much happier than what they were when I first checked in. They talked about speeding up the game. They've noticed that Prior Lake is kind of slow once they've set their play, getting to the line, getting set, and adjusting. So they've talked about speeding up the play. Watch number 92 for Prior Lake. They've really started to focus on him, making sure that he's blocked. Backed up to you guys up top.
Thank you, Brian. Johnson, an outstanding defensive tackle. He's made a minimal impact to this point, as you know, we've seen a lot of the play calls, not out of the ordinary, of course, but going to the outside to, you know, pay dividends to the advantages Spielman provides in open field space. So Johnson has been pretty quiet. This Prior Lake team trying to move the football. As we start the second quarter, gained a couple on second down to bring up third down and 5. Shotgun formation, first time we've seen that for Jimmy Larson. Rolls back, fires on the near side, and a drop by Knutson. Had the first down, but took his eyes off it, and it'll bring up fourth down and 5.
And you had the feeling that this could be a big play in the ball game with Prior Lake to try to get some momentum back, but boy, you got to catch those balls in that situation. You'd at least get it out towards midfield, get your guys going a little bit, but now you got to punt it away to the very dangerous J.D. Spielman. And we'll have to see what they elect to do. Last week, Minnetonka did a great job, at least in the punting game, keeping it away from Spielman, one of the few highlights the Skippers had.
Another terrible play, but this time a bad snap, and a punter forced to just fall on it at the 5-yard line. Things going from bad to worse.
Well, last time it was more the punter's fault for just letting a snap go through his hands, but as you can clearly see on the replay, this one, not a very good snap by the long snapper. Not sure if they've had any personnel changes in that area between the long snapper and punter, but they've certainly had some major issues, as Eden Prairie is going to have a golden opportunity to try to extend their lead here on their homecoming.
Well, Jimmy Larson has been their punter all season long, but to your point about the long snapper, don't know if there's a change there.
Yeah, if you are a Prior Lake fan and maybe have some inside information, do feel free to email us, announcers@psbmn.com, or click below that game tracker screen.
Reverse handoff and a touchdown for the senior linebacker Carter Coughlin. Takes the handoff from Hetherington and scores for the second time this season, 22-7.
Well, those two will have to hang on to that football. Probably the only time you'll see Hetherington hand the ball off to Carter Coughlin. Maybe they've done it once or twice in practice, but kind of unique for them, as it's a good little switch-up play called by head coach Mike Grant, and that gets Eden Prairie up 22-7, as they're on the verge of really breaking this game open if they haven't already.
I think they have.
I might be with you on that, even though it is still technically a two-possession game.
The extra point is good. 23-7 is your score, as you're watching PSB Media.
Well, sir, after some serious consideration, I'd like to put in my 15-year notice. You're quitting?
Technically retiring, sir. With a little help from my State Farm agent, I plan to retire in 15 years.
Wow, you're totally blindsiding me here. Who's going to manage your accounts? This is a devastating blow I was not prepared for.
Well, I'm going to finish packing my things. 15 years will really sneak up on you.
Jennifer will do your exit interview, and Adam made you a cake.
Red velvet.
Oh, thank you.
I made this.
Take charge of your retirement. Talk to a State Farm agent today.
Shop and save with Brandy Warmbier's State Farm Insurance Office in Eden Prairie, a local connection at a lower cost. BrandyWarmbier.com.
If you're looking to change your insurance, maybe on a car, save some money, bundle it with some renters or home insurance, check out Brandy Warmbier, State Farm Insurance Agents. I have a umbrella policy with her. Couldn't be happier. Saved several $100s off the previous plan I had. That's Brandy Warmbier, State Farm Insurance Agents on Single Tree Lane in Eden Prairie.
Well, Prior Lake's got to find a way to get things turned around after having a pretty good start to the game with a turnover and the touchdown, but the punting game has been an issue, and they haven't really had much of an answer for the EP offense either.
No, they haven't.
And offensively, they've had a couple of opportunities, especially going back to that last drive where they pretty clearly had the first down, but the wide receiver just dropped the ball.
And now some early movement by the entire line of the Lakers.
Well, that's been an issue, too. We've had, is that 3 false starts so far?
3 and 5 penalties on them overall.
You wonder if they're maybe a little fired up heading into this game, or you get so excited you want to hit someone, but they got to try to get under control. I don't think it's really a lack of energy on their part. It just seems more like a lack of focus on the Lakers.
Yeah, sometimes when you're too ramped up or too excited, then you lose a little bit of that focus.
I was going to say it's the exact opposite of what we saw out of Minnetonka last week, who really had no energy at all throughout that game. Prior Lake's just lacking in the focus department now.
You're telling me they were flying back with me across the world? Airing it out on a flea flicker, and Cal Lundy makes the interception over the shoulder. What an athletic play by the defensive back, his 4th pick of the year.
Well, it's a good play call by Prior Lake. I think they maybe try to switch things up. They try the trick play, but Lundy almost playing like a wide receiver on that pass. Comes up with a nice catch. Who says DBs can't catch? That was a good play there by Lundy to haul that ball down.
I never said that. Blake Cashman went from cornerback to linebacker to wide receiver by the end of last season.
Well, that's always the old adage that your DBs are wide receivers who can't catch.
I know. Speaking of Blake Cashman, did you watch that TCU Minnesota Gophers game? On national television.
Well, we were here.
Yeah, well, on national television, Blake Cashman made a great gunner tackle on special teams. It got replayed multiple times by the crew.
How are you knowing this? You were calling a game during the TCU Minnesota.
Tweet.
Oh, okay.
Twitters.
All right, okay.
Tweets. Faking the pass and running. Picking up 2 yards is Jackson Randall. He's pushed out of bounds at the 36. That's how I know. Some creativity.
Don't forget, coming up, what do you think, Kevin? Maybe towards the end of the second quarter, we'll be giving away a couple of Noodles and Company coupons where you can get some free bowls. Don't have to do anything. All you got to do is answer a trivia question that we'll ask later on. I think we'll take the first response and go from there.
Yeah, well, why don't we... So, yeah, just email the response, and whoever emails us first, we'll give those coupons to. We'll also have to get your address so we can send it unless you're nearby.
Mm-hmm.
But let's do that during the next time out.
Okay.
Quick hitter out to Spielman, breaks a couple of tackles, sidesteps another. The ball may be loose, but loses his helmet for sure. Looks like Johnson fell on the football. Spielman lost his helmet in the process. There's a flag on the play as well. We'll have to sort this all out for you.
Referees are going to have one heck of a task here to try to figure out what they all want to call in this situation. See if we can run a replay on it. Maybe see if you want to play the official. Well, I have the very end of it at least, which doesn't help you very much. Spielman lost his helmet, as you can see.
The ball came out, but it looked like he was already on his back. It's hard with that very abrupt replay you gave me to see if the ball was moving before he made contact with the field.
Well, while we do have another moment, I'd like to remind you, Mulch Store also brings you coverage of tonight's game. If you're finishing up those fall projects, or I guess it's been so warm, maybe you're just starting those fall projects and yard cleanup, you can drop off yard waste at any Mulch Store location, Burnsville, Minnetristo, Rosemount, and Shakopee. It's really a cool process where your waste you drop off gets turned into compost for next spring, which you can use for your gardens, yard, all sorts of great things. So check it out, mulchstoremn.com, mulchstoremn.com. Drop off your yard waste, and of course also order all sorts of mulching and landscaping materials, maybe for next spring, unless you want to set up a garden for 2 weeks. But in theory could. But it is the Mulch Store, mulchstoremn.com. Really a great place. Kevin and I had a chance to visit there, I think, last year, and really cool facility they have. At least the one we visited in Minnetrista.
I'm sure the other ones are cool as well. 3rd down and 14 following a holding penalty. That's what we sorted out. No fumble. The flag was for a hold. And TJ Conrad, his first tote of the night, works his way to the 39 before he's stopped. And brings up a punting situation for the Eagles, their first time. Tonight, J.D. Spielman back to punt this one.
Yeah, and that's what you need if you're Prairie Lake to get that kind of stop and try to just get something going in the positive direction. Watch out Spielman, though. He's very capable of faking it in these situations.
A line drive punt, fielded on one hop, trying to make a man miss. Able to be spun forward close to the 40-yard line. There is a flag on the play, and a Laker slow to get up. Is able to get up under his own power, which is good to see. We'll see what the flag is.
Yeah, I'm wondering if they might be backing up the Lakers here, but the referee's been busy over the past few minutes, and indeed it is, against Prairie Lake.
That's their 6th penalty of the game, I believe.
Also, another quick reminder, lots of housekeeping to do, but it is homecoming for Eden Prairie, and we will try to get as much of the homecoming halftime festivities as we can on air, especially the marching band performance and the royalty. Try to get all that coming up at halftime right here on PSB. Don't want to miss that. I'll try to keep our blabber to a minimum during halftime.
I think we're pretty good at doing that. We're not very talkative. Larson, pump fakes, and then he'll be dropped. Took too much time to make a decision, and the sack recorded by number 42, Devon Young, his 3rd of the year.
Yeah, you just got to get rid of the ball right there, taking way too much time. The line gave him, well, okay protection. Wouldn't really necessarily say good, but plenty of time to get rid of the football. But against a talented defense like this, you can't really afford to hang on to the ball for more than 4 seconds.
Well, the pocket collapsed around him, but he still had plenty of space to step up. That's what he tried to do, but just couldn't keep the vision down the field to make a throw. And eats it up, takes the sack. Same type of play again, but he's going to try to run with it. Sidesteps one player. Looks a little like Matt Castle trying to run with it. Not able to pick up positive yardage. Not the prettiest dancer out there, but still made something happen.
And he did, yeah. He won't be on Dancing with the Stars anytime soon, but hey, when you run that much and still get a 6-yard gain, still positive there for the Lakers. Pretty shifty moves.
And it looks like Young got hurt on the play as well. So the guy who just recorded the sack, he made the stop, and he's still being attended to on the ground. Initially sat halfway up, and then went back to the turf to be attended to.
Well, what do you think, Kevin, while they attend to the injured player? Should we go ahead and ask that Noodles and Company trivia question?
Might as well.
All right, let's do it. Again, just email us the answer, and we'll just go by whoever emails us first. If you get it right, I'll email you back, make sure we get your address, and then we'll send you those Noodles coupons.
Yeah,
I think we're going to send 2 of them right now.
For 2 Noodles coupons, again, each is good for up to a $10 value. So I know on the coupon it says you can get a bowl or salad on us, but in actuality you can get up to $10 courtesy of the coupon. The question ready.
Here we go.
Eden Prairie has won 4 consecutive state titles, a whole bunch over the last 20 or so years. The trivia question is, when was the last time Eden Prairie did not make the state tournament? What year?
So again, what year did Eden Prairie not make state? I happen to know this answer because I'll give a little hint. Not that anyone knows my age, but it was the year after I graduated from high school.
So what year, or what was the last year that Eden Prairie missed the state tournament? Feel free to email us.
Now, what's funny, though, is that my parents are listening to the game, and they know when I graduated from high school, so I don't know if we'll have them eligible to win.
They're not eligible.
Not eligible? We just declared that? All right.
We didn't declare your parents eligible as an offensive lineman to catch a pass down the field.
Yeah. So, again, if you know that answer, just email us, announcers@PSBMN, or just click that link below your game tracker screen. We'll just go in order with who emails us first, and whoever gets that question right. I'll throw that email up one more time on screen in case you forgot. Announcers@PSBMN.com. Let us know the last time Eden Prairie did not make state, and we'll mail you 2 Noodles coupons. It's important, too, those can be used at any of the Noodles and Company locations as well. It's not restricted to the Eden Prairie one.
So Young being attended to, so he walks off the field. Hopefully he's all right. Good athlete for Eden Prairie. Very productive on the defensive line this season. Airs it out, and Ben Price makes the interception. Took a big hit as Simonson, the intended target, wasn't even looking for that pass. It was almost like it was directed to Price. Took the punishment, but comes away with the football.
Yeah, let's take a look at that, and boy, that is well timed by Ben Price, not only to pick it off, but also make sure he doesn't get called for pass interference. That is a beautiful play by the Eden Prairie defensive back. He's had a couple of nice plays in this ball game. Big time pick.
And Eden Prairie Stars are shining tonight. 23-7 the advantage. 2 interceptions on fantastic athletic plays by Lundy and Price, intercepting some Prior Lake passes. And the offense back out on the field inside the 35, looking to punctuate what's been a very productive first half.
Boy, we already have 6 responses on here. I'll try to read these answers as soon as we get a moment, but thanks for all the emails.
Zog hands it off to Spielman, bounces off Johnson, still on his feet, but can't escape a hold at the shoe. Good play there by number 7, Nick Raditz. He has the interception tonight for Prior Lake, an outstanding linebacker. Able to make that tackle, slow down Spielman.
All right, so it'll be 3rd and 10 for Eden Prairie. Let's go ahead and look at our first answer. This one is from Brandon. And, unfortunately, Brandon, not quite right. He said 1995. He's off by a few years, so we'll go ahead and look at our next answer in just a moment.
That actually was the second to last time. So pretty close. Which is crazy to think about, if that's the second to last time. Pass to Spielman, and he's bottled up again, this time in the passing game. Doesn't gain anything, and it sets up 4th down and 7.
In just a moment, we're going to see if our sideline guy, Brian Whitey, wants to check in and see if he has an injury update on the injured player for Eden Prairie. In fact, while we have a stoppage on the field, let's go ahead and send things down to Brian right now, if he is available and ready.
A couple injuries to report on down on the field. Devion Young for the defense had some issues with his left knee. Right now I'm watching him kind of running out right now. Looks like he's going to be coming back in. TJ Conrad for the offense, running back, senior for Eden Prairie. Looks like it was a back stiffness or his hip. They were kind of working on stretching out his right leg. He looks like he's going to be coming back into the game. So just a couple minor injuries. Back up to you guys.
Thanks, Brian, for that report. Good to hear that both the Eagles players are on the mends. And speaking of injuries, though, Prior Lake player down on the field. He helped up and walked off. I didn't quite see what happened, but Jake Hummel, the strong safety, was down on the field going through some issues and walking under his own power, so hopefully he also can make a speedy recovery.
Absolutely. By the way, we have a winner in our trivia game. Al guessed it correctly. 2004 was the last time Eden Prairie did not make the state tournament. So, Al, if you're still watching, I'll be emailing you shortly to make sure I get your address so we can send you those Noodles and Company coupons. A whole bunch of other people emailed as well, but hey, still hold on. We have a couple more to give away throughout the broadcast. As Kevin, I think you have one or two more trivia questions in your pocketbook ready to go later on.
Yeah, we'll for sure do one more. Mm-hmm. And thank you for all who participated, and congratulations to Al.
I'm just curious to see how many people actually had the correct answer. So far, we're 1 for 3. I'm looking through 5 emails. Al's the only one who got it so far.
Like how you open the email, that subject header is 2009.
That's interesting. We had about 10 emails, and Al was the only one to get it right, so Al could have emailed us at any time and still would have won. But that is unbelievable to think about, as you said. 1990, what did they guess before?
1995.
Was the second to last time they didn't make state, but 2004 was the last time they didn't, and that was part of when Minnetonka won the state championship. They beat Eden Prairie in the section title game, and it's also the last time the Skippers beat the Eagles.
And also the last time they've won the state title, too, so you got to beat the best, and you play through the best. In the case of, traditionally Eden Prairie and Minnetonka, able to beat them and pick up their state championship. Dropping back to pass, Zog airs it out. Kyle Connolly, as much speed as he has, couldn't catch up to that overthrow.
How about that? 4th and 7, airing it out. Think of a play call there by Mike Grant, maybe trying to catch Prior Lake by surprise, but not a huge loss turning it over on downs when you're at the 30-yard line.
No, not at all. Really, you're not going to punt in that situation, and
you don't really have what? I can't think of a kicker with a strong leg right now in the NFL. You don't have Blair Walsh's leg? Maybe not accuracy?
He was so accurate as a rookie. Yeah. What happened? Let it get to his head, maybe. Inside handoff, running with a full head of steam. Dunny picks up the first down. Prior Lake hoping they're not done yet. Still 6 minutes left. For some reason I was thinking there was less time in the second quarter left. As they being the Prior Lake Lakers, trying to get back into the scoring column. They scored first. A 12-yard catch and run for Jacob Simonson. His first touchdown on the receiving end this season. But since then, some turnovers, some penalties have marred their ability to get anything going. Also a drop pass when they were still only down 9-7 by their leading receiver. Could have moved the chains, put them near midfield. As it stands, this is their second best series of the night, as the first down is gained by number 33, Lawson Zenner.
Well, they're going to mark him short by like a half a foot, it looks like. Well, I was with you, though. I thought he got the first down.
Well, I'll just give him credit for the first down because it's a half yard. And as good as defense the Eagles have, I'm guessing on 3 downs they can get it. Dropping back to pass. Larson looking down the field, has a man and a catch it in stride inside the 10-yard line. Good pass play and a good catch by number 20 for Prior Lake, Jacob Hitz.
And I absolutely love that play call from Prior Lake. Second and about a half foot. Why not take a shot down the field when you have 2 more chances? They took the risk. It paid off. Nice job to hit the receiver in stride, and Prior Lake back in business to get on the scoreboard.
So a gain of roughly 37. And Larson, the longest play from scrimmage, sets up his Lakers. 1st and goal from the 10. Pitch out. 2 hits. Tries to dazzle a couple of Eagles with some fancy footwork, but just get taken down on the spot at the 8-yard line. Gain of 2 hits through that interception earlier on that flea flicker, that running back option, which I also didn't have a problem with. It was essentially like a punt, the way he threw that down the field on 3rd down. Lundy made an outstanding catch, but they were probably going to punt anyway on the next play. It just hurts his quarterback rating.
Yeah.
That's all it does. 2nd down and goal from the 7. Stopped in his tracks. Good pursuit by the defense. Making the play, Dan Anderson.
Yeah, they didn't really get any kind of push on that left side. It made it pretty obvious when you load up that left side of the offensive line where you're going to run. If you try a little misdirection on that instead and fool anybody on the Eden Prairie defense, now it sets up a big 3rd and goal play call from the 7-yard line. And I'd venture to say Prior Lake probably is going to go for it on 4th down should they not score here. Field goal doesn't really do you a whole lot of good. So don't be surprised if they maybe try to set something up where they can get a 4th down maybe inside the 2-yard line or so. Be an interesting play call they have coming.
Timeout called by the Lakers. Talk things over on this big 3rd down play. 3:37 to play as you're watching PSB.
Hi, Grandma.
Hi, Timmy. I hope you're hungry.
Sure am, but I prefer broccoli to mushrooms.
Well, I prefer your brother to you.
Don't mess with Grandma's dishes. Mess with ours instead. Delicious dishes from around the globe that you're free to customize. Noodles & Company, your world kitchen.
Big play for Prior Lake. Brett, do you have any ideas what they might draw up here?
I don't know. I'm thinking they might try a short pass just to get inside that 2-yard line where you can maybe try that short run, or maybe a pitch to the outside. Either way, I think they got to try something here to fool the Eden Prairie defense. They can't be predictable on this play.
Shotgun formation, rolling out to the right, fires, has a man, and able to make the catch. Thought about dropping it to Knutson, and he juggled it for a moment, but able to haul it in and score a big touchdown for the Lakers.
A little flair for the dramatics, having to make that catch interesting when he's wide open, but that's a nice job to catch it because his momentum was taking him out of bounds, so if he was still bobbling it by the time he stepped out of bounds, it of course wouldn't be a touchdown, but he was able to secure it while he was in bounds, and Prior Lake's right back in this game.
Yeah, I don't want to speculate too much, but at the NFL level, that definitely would need to be reviewed closely because it still looked like he was juggling it very near the sideline.
Well, of course, the NFL, you need 2 feet in.
Yeah.
College, you only need 1. Same with high school.
Going for the 2-point try. On the outside pitch. Very close, and he dives in. A big play and a big conversion for Prior Lake. Number 28 able to spoil Eden Prairie's attempts at stopping him. Jordan Johnson, the sophomore running back, makes this a 8-point game, 1-possession game.
I'll give you one look at it here on the replay as we'll take a timeout and have the ensuing kickoff on the way next here on PSB Media.
Great food and great sports. It's the Tavern on 4 and 5 in Eden Prairie. This season, the Tavern on 4 and 5 will be showing PSB broadcasts of Eden Prairie football and hockey on their big screen TVs. So make it a night out. Get some great food while watching your Eden Prairie Eagles at the Tavern on 4 and 5. Some of their classics include the Mediterranean Pizza, Tavern Turkey Burger, as well as delicious breakfasts that are served 7 days a week. That's the Tavern on 4 and 5, just blocks from Eden Prairie High School.
Kickoff received by Conrad. Good to see him back in the game. Missed some time. Stretching himself out. A lower body injury. And he returns it as he immediately comes up gimpy, holding his right hip at the 32-yard line.
Kevin, I don't know if that secondary camera, if you can get a shot on that left side, it's like we have a whole city of students ready to come in for the halftime show. Very cool to see, as it looks like they're going to have one heck of a performance to put on here once we get to halftime. And again, we'll try to air as much of it as we can here during halftime.
Spielman going up the middle. He's off to the races for 50, 40, 30, 20, and he's going home. A home run ball hit by Spielman. 68 yards and a touchdown.
Pure speed again. Wow, he just has everything in his running game. His 2 touchdown runs, he hasn't really used his shifty moves that he's known for. He's just been using pure speed. We were playing a Madden football game. I think his acceleration would be, a 98? That was impressive.
I would give him a 99. The highest possible. Don't hold 1 point back.
You could never give anyone a perfect score. Unless you're like Usain Bolt, maybe.
You're telling me I can't give him a perfect score?
Well, you
What's
can.
preventing me from giving him a perfect score? The extra point is good by Montero. And how many times this season, Brett, do we see a team, build some momentum and the next play, Eden Prairie's offense dashes their hearts?
He's just like a responder, is J.D. Spielman. Every time a big play goes to the other side, Spielman responds, whether it's on offense, defense. Going back to that Maple Grove game, Maple Grove had the ball inside the Eden Prairie 10-yard line, looked like they were going to score. What does Spielman do? Picks off a pass in the end zone. Here after Prairie Lake gets a touchdown and a 2-point conversion to make it a 1-possession game, Spielman hits the home run. He is just playing on a whole different level this year.
And it was a great job, just pure speed, because Jamal Johnson, we're talking about the impact he makes as nose tackle. He actually had a shot at Spielman behind the line, and Spielman was so fast, Johnson literally moved his hip and arm to go in for the tackle, and Spielman was already 10 yards down the field.
Boy, Mike Riley has something else coming up next year at Nebraska. You and I were kind of talking earlier, not sure if he can really be an every down back in the Big Ten just simply because of his size, but he could be a great weapon as a defensive back and as a return man for the Huskers.
Yeah, for sure in those two regards. A big hit laid by the return man, or on the return man. Couldn't see the number of the Eagles player who popped him. Maybe it was number 47, Nolan Sullivan. Yeah. Either way, it's like he hit a freight train.
That's like Nolan Sullivan, if it was him. He's a great hockey player for Eden Prairie, where you're catching a guy with his head down and you go up and lay a big body check to him onto the ice. Similar to what just happened there. Runner didn't see him coming, and Nolan Sullivan with a big-time tackle.
3:03 to play. Prairie Lake got their offense going again moments ago, as they were able to score for the first time since the opening possession. That was off a turnover. The opening series touchdown. Now have to gain that momentum right back. J.D. Spielman stole it away on one play, a 68-yard touchdown run following the touchdown and 2-point conversion from the Lakers. As you can see, 30-15 is your score. Prairie Lake had the 7-0 lead. Eden Prairie responded.
And they can't panic here because they have plenty of time to score, and I believe they will get the ball to start the second half, so they're still definitely in this ball game.
Pass deflected off the shoulder pad of Connor Novak Gore. Saw him get an interception as a D lineman in week 1, a victory over Totino Grace. Also scored an offensive touchdown as he recovered a fumble in the end zone.
We've seen this a couple times so far, if I'm not mistaken, of the Eden Prairie linemen tipping some passes in the ball. Prairie Lake's done that as well, so you sometimes have seen a lot more often in the NFL. Linemen are a lot better at getting their hands in the air trying to tip those passes. This is a big conversion coming up for Prairie Lake.
3rd down and 3. Larson drops back under some heat, steps up, has a man. Knutson able to snag it on his hip. Check that, it's number 80, Hunter Sandness, able to make that catch. He juggled it, carried it to the back side of his hip, and just pinned it there to make the reception.
Yeah, look at there on the replay. A couple of things happened right there. A nice job by the quarterback to avoid some pressure as that pocket was definitely collapsing on him, but did a nice job stepping up, and one heck of a catch to gather it along your hip. That is a lot tougher than it looks.
So a big first down. Now Larson with plenty of time slings that one. Almost one-handed catch made by Sandness again. Takes a big hit as he comes down. Incomplete on the official play. I know in high school now you can't hit a defenseless receiver. I don't quite know if he was defenseless or not, but that was kind of a bang-bang play there.
Yeah, that it was. The DBs for the Eagles have done a nice job timing their hits, though, going back to that play by a few minutes ago by the defensive back for Eden Prairie, had a well-timed hit.
And Ben Price took a well-timed hit as he made the interception.
Oh, and Prior Lake's got to clean up this part of their game. Way too many penalties, as they're going to be backed up again with their fourth false start that they've had in this half.
Sets up second down and 15, under 2 minutes to go. They expended one of their timeouts early on. 2 remain. Huddling up. Larson checks in on the sideline for the play call. Relays it to the rest of his team as they line up. Near side lining up is Nick Raditz, their linebacker, in as a receiver. Goes the other way with it, and a great catch, and maybe even some pass interference or holding to boot. Outstanding job. We saw Knutson struggle earlier with a wide open ball, dropping it. They're in traffic, heavily contested and maybe interfered with, still able to hold on.
Well, you be the judge on it here, because if it is indeed pass interference or holding, you might almost be better off taking the first down. Then we'll wait for official word from the referee.
It would be a third down and 2 if they, assuming the penalty's on Eden Prairie, of course.
I'm not seeing any signal, so I wonder if they took the flag off, or is this against Prior Lake? Now they're backing up.
So there was a hold against Eden Prairie.
Which I think in theory you'd want to take the automatic first down rather than having 3rd and 2, or would you rather have the yardage? Actually a good question.
Not quite sure what they're walking off.
So they're going to call it 2nd and 5. Yeah, I'm not sure about that.
So it's a 10-yard holding penalty on the defense?
Yeah, but if I'm Prior Lake, I think I might rather take 3rd and 2 rather than 2nd and 5. But it is kind of a wash.
I probably would take the 3rd and 2 as well, but it is pretty close. So negate the catch, and a drop again from a wide receiver cutting across the side. It was Lawson Zenner, and he can't make the play. Handcuffed him a little bit, but still, when you're open in a big situation for your team, you got to make that play.
Yeah, now it does bring up 3rd and 5, which I still think has got to be 4-down territory for the Lakers, but they're just having trouble executing in some really basic areas in this game with those penalties, dropped passes, false starts. They could be easily tied or maybe even have the lead if they're just able to execute better on their fundamentals.
Big 3rd and 5. Larson airs it out, has his man. Knutson makes the guy miss and is dragged down by Ben Price at the 30-yard line. 3rd and 5. They needed the 5, obviously, and get 25 instead.
Oh, there you go. It's a good way to convert if you're Prior Lake, as, again, they're in business. This kind of has the feeling of that Maple Grove Eden Prairie game where, if you remember back a couple weeks ago, the Crimson offense really did a nice job moving the ball, and now the Lakers have really gotten into a nice offensive rhythm.
Larson throws off his back foot as a man near the chains. He'll be tackled by a horde of Eagles.
And now looking at the situation, the Lakers do have 2 timeouts, so they don't need to be in an extreme rush, but they do need to have at least some sense of urgency.
Knutson, after a slow start, has caught fire. Same can be said of Larson at quarterback. He's seen some pass rushes to the outside, but his lineman doing a nice job just steering him away, creating that little bubble for him to step up into in the pocket. And he's kept his poise and made some strong throws the last two series to move the football against the Eagles. And that's the thing I like about this Prior Lake team. Clearly the media, everybody recognizes they're a very talented team, ranked number 7 in state. But last week, Larson let the flow of the game just become a running attack. His running back rushed for over 180 yards. He barely passed for anything, just again because of game flow. And this week, they're down. He needs to step up, throw the ball a little bit more, but he's capable at adopting and adjusting to it, and fit whatever mold is needed of him each and every week.
Absolutely. Just another note here before Prior Lake runs this next play. If you'd like your game streamed, contact us, psbmn.com. Love to get your games on air. Just email us on psbmn.com. Go to Request Sports, and we'll see if we can get your games on air as well.
Larson looks right, steps back left, has a man open, and he scores untouched. What a great head fake by Larson, and he caught the Eagles selling out to the strong side. 20-yard touchdown catch and run for Lawson Zenner.
I've been talking so much about the move Spielman has. Look at that head fake. Wow. That is a great play by the Lakers, and again they cash in and are back in it.
And not often you see Cal Lundy just falling awkwardly to the side of a play. That's how badly that head fake fooled Eden Prairie. Extra point try is good, and another excellent response from the visiting Lakers. It's a one-score game again. You had updated the score. I got confused. 22-30 with about 50 seconds left in this half. You're watching PSB.
Correct, I have a life mate. Is that consequential?
With whom are you communicating?
Jake from Planet State Farm.
Jake from Planet State Farm at 0300 hours. State your identity.
It is Jake from Planet State Farm, home of Discount Double Check.
Describe your apparel, Jake from Planet State Farm.
Khakis.
Khakis. Explain.
A dull earthly garment covering male extremities.
Sounds most appropriate.
Save mass quantities, even at 0300 hours. Get to a better state.
Shop and save with Brandy Warmbier State Farm Insurance Office in Eden Prairie. A local connection at a lower cost. BrandyWarmbier.com.
To thank all of our sponsors of Eden Prairie football, including, as you saw, Brandy Warmbier and the Tavern on 4 and 5. Can watch any of our broadcasts. If you can't make it to the game, live from the Tavern on 4 and 5 just down the road. Excellent cowboy burgers, pizza, happy hour, and of course those really delectable melt-in-your-mouth tots that they have, homemade. Nothing quite like them. That's the Tavern on 4 and 5.
And one other quick programming note, we will actually not be streaming next week's game at Shakopee for the Eden Prairie Eagles. We just have had a history of not getting a very good connection down in that area, and we will try to provide you with Twitter updates, but next broadcast would be against Wyzetta in 2 weeks here on PSB.
J.D. Spielman nowhere to go. His carries creeping up there, up over 10, up over 12 in fact, so this would represent a season high now, but has been slow the last couple of totes. 2nd down and 8. Spielman trying to get to the outside, and he's buried in the backfield. Great edge coverage, getting to the outside and containing him. Preston Jellin, a sophomore safety who came in for the injured safety. That'll represent the final play of this first half. Eden Prairie has the advantage. It's been a juggernaut battle so far on homecoming night from Erie Stadium, 30-22. Before we take a break, we got a halftime report from our sideline reporter, Brian Whitey.
down here on the field right now, the biggest intensity right now is on the defensive side. Coaches are actually pretty calm about it. On that last defensive coaching time there, the coaches didn't really even talk that much with the players, just about fundamentals, what to watch for. The players were the ones doing most of the talking, really talking about just different ways, seeing how to help out their teammates. Watch for the defense really come out pretty second half, as they're going to be talking about defense probably mostly during halftime. Back up stop to you guys.
All right, thanks, Brian. And indeed, Eden Prairie's D came in allowing just 12.5 points per game. 3 separate times in 5 games this season, they've allowed fewer than 160 total yards of offense by the opposition. But tonight, Prior Lake, a very talented team on both sides of the football, are in hot pursuit, competing at both ends, and kept this one relatively close at 30-22. It'll be it for us here for halftime, but we'll leave the cameras rolling for this halftime performance.
Yeah, absolutely. We just got to pay a couple of bills here, but then we'll come back and show all the halftime performances right here on PSB.
Stream your games in HD like the pros. Have a game you want streamed? PSB is here to help. PSB offers its HD streaming services to meet your request, whether you want one game, a tournament, or even an entire season's worth of games live streamed. Every broadcast features professional play-by-play announcers, instant replay, on-screen graphics, multiple camera angles, and much more. Plus, you can even make money from broadcasting. By having PSB stream your games, you create an opportunity to bring in additional revenue to your team or booster club. You can make money from pay-per-view broadcasts, DVD and digital download sales of the broadcasts, and even control of the advertising space on the broadcasts. So what are you waiting for? Get your team on air and stream in HD like the pros. Contact production at psbmn.com to get started today.
Nice performance by the fall dance team for Eden Prairie. As I learned over the last couple of months, the fall dance team is not quite as competitive team. That the winter team competes for the state championship. It's a little more carefree, but also they do a fine job, as you just saw the tail end of the dance. We got the marching band coming out with all the tricks, all the stops for this homecoming night.
Yeah, let's go ahead and get one more commercial break in before the marching band performs here during homecoming for Eden Prairie. Always very entertaining when they have these homecoming performances.
We're speaking with Rob Friend at the mulch store. Rob, once people have finished up trimming those trees or raking those leaves, how easy is it for them to stop in at the mulch store to drop off those materials? Or maybe even pick up some mulch for next year?
Well, if you want to stop in and drop off, you come in, check in at the gate attendant, and they'll point you in the right direction after you pay a small fee. And if you're ready to pick up something to do a final garden or mulch project, pick out the product you want, pay for the fee, and we'll load up a trailer or a pickup truck if you have that. If not, we do have delivery available.
And of course, you guys have locations all over the metro area.
That's right. For locations and more information on delivery, you can check us out at our website, mulchstoremn.com.
Great food and great sports. It's the Tavern on 4 and 5 in Eden Prairie. This season, the Tavern on 4 and 5 will be showing PSB broadcasts of Eden Prairie football and hockey on their big screen TVs. So make it a night out. Get some great food while watching your Eden Prairie Eagles at the Tavern on 4 and 5. Some of their classics include the Mediterranean pizza, Tavern turkey burger, as well as delicious breakfasts that are served 7 days a week. That's the Tavern on 4 and 5, just blocks from Eden Prairie High School.
Correct, I have a life mate. Is that consequential?
With whom are you communicating?
Jake from Planet State Farm.
Jake
Like
from
a
Planet State
dinosaur
Farm
roar.
at 300 hours. State your identity.
It is Jake from Planet State Farm, home of Discount Double Check.
Describe your apparel, Jake from Planet State Farm.
Khakis.
Khakis. Explain.
A dull earthly garment covering male extremities.
Sounds most appropriate.
Save mass quantities, even at 0300 hours. Get to a better state.
Well, sir, after some serious consideration, I'd like to put in my 15-year notice.
You're quitting?
Technically retiring, sir. With a little help from my State Farm agent, I plan to retire in 15 years.
Wow, you're totally blindsiding me here. Who's going to manage your accounts? This is a devastating blow I was not prepared for.
Well, I'm going to finish packing my things. 15 years will really sneak up on you.
Jennifer will do your exit interview, and Adam made you a cake.
Red velvet.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I'm taking it back in about 10 seconds.
Take charge of your retirement. Talk to a State Farm agent today.
Shop and save with Brandy Warmbier's State Farm Insurance Office in Eden Prairie. A local connection at a lower cost. BrandyWarmbier.com.
Stadium as it is halftime, as we're going to watch in now on the halftime performance of the Eden Prairie Marching Band.
Representing the freshman, Taylor Wright, escorted by John Ruggiero. Sophomore, Morgan Mulligan, escorted by Jack Gallagher. And also representing the sophomore class, Grace Maxwell, escorted by Bennett Maxwell. And representing the juniors, we have Caitlin Mortensen, escorted by Devin Jordan, representing Byron Bland. Representing the junior class, Sarah Porter, escorted by Adam Day. And your 2015 homecoming senior court, Emily Bolig, escorted by Calder Self. Jennifer Askus, escorted by Chris Beaver, father of Jake Beaver. Aaron Peterson, escorted by Ken Hahn. Natalie Sherbrooke, escorted by Jake Rupert. Caroline Frischmann, escorted by Jacob Hammer. Stephanie Corey, escorted by Jacob Ferris. And last but not least, your homecoming king and queen of 2015 are Riley Nichols, represented by Callie, her sister, escorted by our king, Hugh Trempy.
And you were watching the halftime festivities here at homecoming for Eden Prairie. We're going to go ahead and take one final timeout, and we will have the second half on the way next between the Eagles and the Lakers right here on PSP.
Stay current on what's going on in your local community. The Sun Current is a local community newspaper that serves several communities in the Southwest Metro, including Eden Prairie, Edina, and Bloomington. The Sun Current will keep you up to date with the latest comings and goings on your school board, city council, arts and entertainment, and community events. And make sure you check out their in-depth high school sports coverage featuring weekly articles on Eden Prairie, Edina, Jefferson, and Kennedy. From football and hockey to tennis and swimming, the Sun Current has your favorite team covered. Keep it local and visit the Sun Current website at current.mnsun.com. And we're joined by Rob Friend at the Mulch Store. Rob, a lot of people are finishing up those fall projects, whether it's trimming trees or getting rid of all those leaves. What can people do with those materials once they're done?
Well, they can bring their yard waste into any of our locations and dispose of it for a small fee. And after it's disposed of, we then process it and turn it into compost.
It's also a very easy, straightforward process to stop in at any of those Mulch Store locations, correct?
You just pull into any of the sites, you check in with the gate attendant, and pay your small fee, and you're all set to go.
And if people would like more information about the great products and services the Mulch Store offers, what's your website?
mulchstoremn.com.
Great food and great sports. It's the Tavern on 4 and 5 in Eden Prairie. This season, the Tavern on 4 and 5 will be showing PSB broadcasts of Eden Prairie football and hockey on their big screen TVs. So make it a night out. Get some great food while watching your Eden Prairie Eagles at the Tavern on 4 and 5. Some of their classics include the Mediterranean Pizza, Tavern Turkey Burger, as well as delicious breakfasts that are served 7 days a week. That's the Tavern on 4 and 5, just blocks from Eden Prairie High School. Stream your games in HD like the pros. Have a game you want streamed? PSP is here to help. PSP offers its HD streaming services to meet your request, whether you want one game, a tournament, or even an entire season's worth of games live streamed. Every broadcast features professional play-by-play announcers, instant replay, on-screen graphics, multiple camera angles, and much more. Plus, you can even make money from broadcasting. By having PSP stream your games, you create an opportunity to bring in additional revenue to your team or booster club. You can make money from pay-per-view broadcasts, DVD and digital download sales of the broadcasts, and even control of the advertising space on the broadcasts. So what are you waiting for? Get your team on air and stream in HD like the pros. Contact production at pspmn.com to get started today.
If you're just joining us, starting the second half from Prairie Stadium, it's homecoming night for Eagles fans. A fine halftime show on hand for a over-capacity crowd in the southwest metro of the Twin Cities. They laid witness to a Alice in Wonderland type theme with the marching band, trees, and dancers at halftime, along with the fall dance team's performance to kick it off. Speaking of kicking it off, Antonio Montero will push this one from left to right as Prior Lake is set to receive the second half kickoff. The head of seam, Simonson tries to find some blockers to the near side and gets buried by a couple of Eagles as they did not hold the blocks very well. Stopped at the 21-yard line. Down on the field now we have Brian ready to give us our start of the second half report.
I got Coach Grant coming back out to the field there after halftime. In true Coach Grant fashion, he kept it short. He said we got to make some stops defensively. That's the plan for the second half as well, as we got to get some stops. That was about all he had to say. Back to you guys up top.
All right, thanks, Brian.
Oh, he's not wrong.
Exactly.
And that is key because, as I was saying earlier in the second quarter, is that this kind of has the look of the Maple Grove Eden Prairie game, where once we got to about the second quarter of that game, Maple Grove's offense looked unstoppable, and Prior Lake's offense, on the other hand, in this game started to really get into a nice little rhythm in the second quarter, and we'll see if they continue that here in the third. As you also brought up during halftime, Kevin, if not for a couple of bad snaps on punts, the Lakers very easily could be winning this game.
Snap set up a 1st and goal from the 5 for the Eagles. Set up a touchdown for Coughlin and also took a safety on a bad snap. That punt led to a touchdown for the Eagles as well. A huge hit by Carter Coughlin. Welcome to this game.
Well, that'll get your blood moving and get you fired up. See if that also energizes the defense, which...
Just watch the body snap back.
Yeah, take a look at this
hit.
again. Wow.
And finishes off the tackle with a heap. 2 big hits for Coughlin in this one tonight. And you mentioned Prior Lake's offense looking unstoppable. Well, they went back to their first quarter form of taking a false start penalty to open up this drive. After that big hit, now facing a 2nd down and 16. Now pass errant intended for Knutson, who turned in a 5-catch, 66-yard, and a touchdown first half, making amends for a bad drop early on in the game when Eden Prairie had the momentum swinging in their direction. Prior Lake looking to move the chains, and he dropped it. 3rd down and 16 now. Larson's first half numbers, the quarterback of record for the Lakers. 17 pass attempts, 11 completions, so 11 of 17, 159 yards, 2 touchdowns and an interception. Ball is batted down. Say pass incomplete. Eden Prairie brought the heat, brought a blitz up the A-gap, and nowhere to go with the football for Larson. Good first series for this Eden Prairie defense.
Well, Coach Grant said they needed to get stops, and they certainly got one with the aid of that Prior Lake false start. Is that 5 false starts they've had now in this ball game?
It is.
Really been killing their drives.
This time able to handle the snap cleanly, gets away a high punt, and it takes a very favorable Laker bounce to the 33-yard line. That's a net, I got to do quick math here, of 47 yards, or actually 49 yards.
Yeah, a lot of good things on that punt. No fumble for a start, and they kept it away from J.D. Spielman as well, all around. Much better job in the punting game by the Lakers.
Isn't that their first clean punt of the game?
I think you're right.
Reminds me when they were having the punting issues of the Eden Prairie versus Team Canada game last year. Covered on a Saturday, where the punter the first few series always just ran into the end zone to take a safety.
Oh, and that's because I think you had a chance to visit with the Manitoba coach before the game, where he said Canadian rules, punts are a little bit different, so he said don't be surprised if we run in the end zone, and well, that's exactly what happened last year.
Yeah, he's like, I'm not even quite sure what the rules for punting are here in America. I thought he was joking, but apparently not.
Well, speaking of last year, we have another guy from last year's squad watching the game from Ohio, Andrew Obert, tuning into the broadcast. Thank you, Andrew. If I'm remembering correctly, was he a member of last year's team? Or was I thinking, there was an Obert, wasn't there?
Well, there's one on this team.
Yeah.
I can't remember. Andrew, you'll have to let us know if he played last year.
Or maybe a long time ago in his case, if at all. Either way, 3rd and 12 coming up here for the Eden Prairie offense, and we'll have to see what they draw up. Dr. Grant Norland and I were joking last week how pretty much any 3rd and long situation you can hand the ball off to Spielman and have just as good a chance of picking up the first down, but here in this situation, they're going to operate out of a shotgun formation with 3 receivers.
Randall pump fakes, airs it out, sideline, and overthrows Connolly. He had a step on the corner, and it's soft coverage by the safety. Connolly's speed burned past him as well. Good look. Dialed up by Mike Grant, but unable to make the completion.
Yeah, had some good spacing, as you can see on that replay. Just one step ahead of the big play man, Kyle Connolly, whose grandparents are in the stands watching the game tonight. They usually tune into our broadcast, but they made one in person, and they were hoping they could see Kyle Connolly make a big play tonight.
Spielman line drive punt, caught in the air by Simonson, and a good coverage tackle by number 23 of the Eagles, Tommy Fuller. He had a pick 6 in a win, a pounding of Hopkins a few weeks back, and has worked his way into the starting lineup for Eden Prairie and Mike Grant. A junior defensive back, so he'll be around for the semi-long haul. Another chance for Prior Lake as both offenses were stymied, at least in their first try, to open up the second half. Not often that I recall that Eden Prairie on their opening second half possession didn't do something with the football.
Yeah,
Brett?
Me too. Usually those first drives of the third quarter is usually when they make their big move, but a nice stop there by Prior Lake. But I was just sighing again myself just a moment ago. That's the 6th false start on the Prior Lake offensive line. They have got to find a way to get that straightened out, because their offense has moved the ball when they aren't shooting themselves in the foot.
Wadunny off the right edge.
And the problem with that false start is that nice 6-yard gain pretty much just only gets you back to the original line of scrimmage.
Exactly. 2nd down and 9.
Don't forget, coming up later on, maybe at some point here in the third quarter, we'll have another Noodles & Company coupon giveaway. I believe Kevin has a trivia question ready at some point when we have kind of a lull in the action.
Another false start.
That's number 7.
So number 7, as Brett just said.
Boy, that's got to be driving the coaching staff nuts over there on the Lakers sideline, thinking, hey, we have a chance to knock off the 4-time defending state champions, but just mental mistakes are absolutely killing Prior Lake with bad snaps on punts to 7 false starts and drop passes. They've certainly played well enough to be ahead in this game. And even defensively, they've done a nice job on some of these drives, at least holding the EP offense in check.
Considering that a couple of the drives, Eden Prairie was already at the goal line as Larson takes off running. Not often that he's done that this season, but it works for him on this play. Had a big space, and Young pushes him out of bounds. Collects almost all of that 15 yards he needed. Sets up a 3rd down. Actually looks like stepped out of bounds a little bit sooner than I thought. Sets up about 3rd down and 6. Unsplit end for the Lakers. Looking left to that guy, it's Knutson, and he's got the catch on the underneath route and a 1st down for Prior Lake to midfield.
Even a false start doesn't come back to bite them. A great 3rd down conversion. Prior Lake really had to work to pick up that 1st down after the tough start. Knutson's had some nice catches for the Lakers.
He has.
A reminder, if you'd like to email us throughout the broadcast, announcers@psbmn.com. Also find that link below your game tracker screen. Let us know where you're watching from, who you're cheering for, and maybe some predictions on the end of this game. This one certainly has the look of the type of game that could go either way.
Hand off. And a fumble. The ball's out. Who's got it? Lots of Eden Prairie Eagles in the area.
Now a battle of who's got the stronger arms there in the pile, but in theory you would think it'd be Eden Prairie since they did fall on it, but they did get it.
And the Eagles force a turnover. Again, Brett, you've mentioned it many times. Prior Lake playing oh so well in this one, but seemingly when they need a big play, they either make it or make a costly mistake. And this time it was the mistake that strikes a chord. Dylan Warner with the fumble recovery, and the Eagles stop that drive in its tracks, a chance to go up by 2 scores again.
Yeah, it's just the simple case. Prior Lake has been their own worst enemy, not Eden Prairie. Defense has got to hold tough here again. They had that nice 3 and out on the last EP drive, but let's see if Eden Prairie maybe tries to grind things out a little bit in the running game.
Spielman stopped in the backfield. Great pursuit, and there's the nose tackle. Jamal Johnson making his presence felt. Busted loose on the line, got penetration past center Matt Osanasic, and was able to finish that one off for a 1-yard loss. Second down and 11 from the 45. Jackson Randall started the contest. We've seen some Jackson Zog worked in. Now Randall airs it out, has Spielman open, makes the catch, stays on his feet, and another home run hit by number 1. 55 yards, and the Eagles are back at front by 2 scores.
We haven't seen Spielman utilized a whole lot in the passing game, but this time a nice rollout by the quarterback, Jackson Randall. Just airs it out, and Spielman again using his speed. Kind of a risky play by number 7, the Prior Lake defensive back, just leaping out of the air trying to knock it down. Actually probably a pretty smart play considering he might not have been able to catch Spielman, but couldn't get his hand on it. He makes the catch, and Eden Prairie's back up again by 2 scores.
The extra point attempt is blocked. So the score will be 14 points in favor of Eden Prairie at 36-22. But J.D. Spielman, he can beat you in a variety of ways. Eden Prairie, when they need a big play, look to number 1. And the senior delivered yet again 55 yards to pay dirt. You're watching PSB.
Woohoo! This is the best dirt bath ever! Larry, what's with all that racket? I'm loving my new digs. This compost is amazing. Come on in, give it a try. What are you talking about? Oh, yeah. You weren't kidding, Larry. This stuff is great.
The Mulch Store has compost your garden, and yes, even the worms will love. Stop by any of the Mulch Store locations in Burnsville, Minnetrista, Rosemount, and Shakopee to pick up the best compost in the Midwest. Online at mulchstoremn.com. Also shop rocks, seed, soil, edging, and more. Now's the time to make your neighbors green with envy.
Store locations in Burnsville, Minnetrista, Rosemount, and Shakopee.
Kickoff to the end zone for a touchback. J.D. Spielman rises to the occasion yet again. He's got to have, an unending drum, or has to run to a beat of his own drum kind of thing. I don't know how to characterize it, but he's got unrelenting energy and, that game-changing poise as well. He senses his team is down, and he just says, feed me. After he caught that pass, he motioned, feed me, just like Odell Beckham, and, lots of big-time playmakers do. And for the last 4 weeks, he's been on a whole nother level, averaging more than 20 yards per touch, no matter whether it's receiving the football, running the football, or returning it on punts and kickoffs.
So the only thing he has not done this season is throw a pass.
Yeah.
He's got to throw a touchdown at some point. We'll have to see if Coach Grant tries to draw that up in the playbook somehow. That and kick a field goal. He's even punted.
Pass complete to the far side. Looks like Simonson there. Sets up Prior Lake. 3rd down and short.
Again, a reminder, programming-wise, we will not be streaming next week's Eden Prairie versus Shakopee game just due to some restrictions we have down in Shakopee in terms of space and also getting a good internet connection. But we will be back in 2 weeks streaming Eden Prairie versus Wyzetta right here on PSB Media.
Owaduni out into open space as a first down. And Owaduni crosses midfield. He showed a burst of speed there on the edge.
Looks like we have our sideline guy Brian Whitey standing down with a report. Let's go ahead and send things down to him.
Coaches right now are mainly focusing on number 92 for Prior Lake, Jamal Johnson. He's doing a nice job getting some pressure through the line. So we're talking about doubling him up. And so the main thing during that last coaching huddle was who he's lined up, who's going to be doubling him up. So that's something to keep. For 92, Jamal Johnson for Prior Lake. Back up to you guys.
Another handoff, this time going nowhere. Stopped right at the line. Dylan Warner had that fumble recovery a couple plays ago. And Carter Coughlin tag team to make the stop. Second down and 10 from the 48. Motion is Simonson under pressure as Larson somehow able to elude tacklers and finds a man for a first down and more. Zenner works his way inside the 20-yard line, making several men miss along the way.
Boy, we've seen some great plays by both squads in this game. Prior Lake, just when it looks like they might be out of the game after a big Eden Prairie play, they come back with one of their own. What a job there to elude some Eden Prairie tacklers, and an even better job to even get that pass off, as Lakers again right back in business inside the red zone.
Yeah, Larson has put together one of the best quarterback performances I think we've seen as we've covered Eden Prairie sports in the last few years. Owedani carries it inside the 15. He's one of those elusive guys. You think of like Ben Roethlisberger is the first guy that comes to mind. He doesn't run very much, but he somehow is almost never brought down despite always, facing heat, facing arm grabs and arm attempts at a tackle. Just able to use some very good footwork and keep his eyes downfield and make strong throws with that powerful right arm.
Now the key is here for the Lakers to cap off this drive, cannot have any false starts.
Quick hitter and overshoots, number 33, Zinner.
Do have an email in our inbox. This one is coming from Sherry, saying they're watching from Cincinnati, saying go Eagles. Their amazing nephew Michael Swanson, number 65, is playing on the offensive line and going to homecoming with the homecoming queen. They say love you, Michael, and love our EP Eagles. That's Aunt Sherry and Uncle Chris.
Thanks for the email.
Sure
they'll have a good time,
with
especially if they can come away with a victory,
yeah,
too, against a high-quality opponent. Owedani off the edge. He's got a first down and is pushed out of bounds inside the 5. Gain of about 8. Prior Lake, they're the definition of resilient tonight. They keep getting beaten back by their own mistakes and by Eden Prairie and J.D. Spielman in particular. But Larson keeps leading them charge and picking them back up.
They're like an old Rocky movie where it looks like Rocky's about to get knocked up, but he just keeps getting back up. Would that make Eden Prairie, what's his name, Ivan Drago?
It might. Owedani goes for the end zone. Apollo Creed?
Yeah, Apollo Creed. There you go, yeah. Of course, Eden Prairie fans are probably sitting there thinking, well, that makes the Eagles the villain in this game?
No, we're not trying to say that.
Yeah, but it is kind of fitting, though, in a sense, because Prior Lake looks like they might be down and out, but they just find a way to come back and keep responding. Eden Prairie has not been able to put them away.
Good job by the front 4 of the Eagles. They get a stop on 3rd and goal from the 3. Connor Novak Gore there to swallow up the running back.
Well, we'll have an interesting play call coming up for Prior Lake. Eden Prairie's done a nice job on some of these short yardage situations on defense. Lakers with 3rd and goal from the 3-yard line. Wonder if they'll continue trying to run it up the middle or maybe go a little play action.
And they will score the touchdown up the middle. A big play, and they convert their sideline going crazy as they are an extra point away from making it a 7-point contest.
Well, they did go for the well again, going right up the middle. I was thinking maybe they'd try to go a little play action and roll out, but they're able to attack the interior line and score a touchdown, and Prior Lakes, again, got this down to a 1-score ball game.
Owedani with his 6th rushing touchdown of the season. A nice lead block applied by the quarterback, Larson, too. Normally a little dangerous to have your quarterback take some hits, but he wanted to lead the charge. He paved the way, and Owedani able to find Pater at a key time.
I don't know if I've seen that very often where you're not really in a game-deciding situation and you call a timeout on the PAT. Maybe while we have a moment here, Kevin, we could go ahead and ask our next Noodles and Company trivia question.
This one's a little bit easier.
Okay. All right, so again, just the rules again. First person to email us with the correct answer will win those 2 free Noodles coupons. But go ahead, Kevin.
So it has to do more with this matchup. The last time these two teams played was 2 years ago. We had a coverage of that game as well on PSB Media. Wondering what the final score of that contest was. I haven't mentioned it yet in the broadcast, so maybe your memories will serve you well. What was the final score in their last head-to-head matchup between Eden Prairie and Prior Lake?
And again, email that to announcers@psbmn.com or click that link below your game tracker screen.
Extra point is good, and it's a 7-point margin, 36-29. Look for those emails when we come out of the break on PSB.
During this break in the action, I'd like to thank you for watching and ask for your assistance. In addition to live streaming games like this one, PSB Media also produces video commercials for clients. If someone you know is trying to grow their business, tell them to consider contacting production at psbmn.com. The internet is a powerful marketing tool, but due to its size, it can be difficult for messages to reach the right ears. Optimize their valuable time and money. PSB Video will help drive localized traffic to the client's website. Using keyword-driven content, PSB Video can improve where businesses appear in search results. Nearer to the top results means more clicks and more business. So please, tell those business owners you know to work smarter, not harder, by considering PSB Production. Find out more by emailing production@psbmn.com.
And they'll start off with very poor field position inside their 15. The receiver, DJ Johnson, had a hard time. The ball, kind of an in-between hop, right at his speed at the 6-yard line. Bobbled it and was able to recover, at least maintain possession. But again, the Eagles are pinned deep in their own territory. A big run to the right side, outside the hash marks, across the numbers by Alec Hetherington. Moves the chains and in a hurry gets Eden Prairie out of that rough field position. Jake Beaver is called and credited with a good block, and we hear big fan base supporting him down below, applauding his efforts. That's one thing we need to do a better job of too, I feel like, Brett. You know, giving credit to that offensive line, seeing those big blocks applied. As J.D. Spielman has some good space to work with, will stutter step and step out of bounds at the 46. A cool gain of 16.
He gained 16 yards. I'm not even sure if he was touched by any defender on that run.
Just when he went out of bounds, the guy who fell down.
By the way, Kevin, I think you've stumped people on that trivia question. I have no responses in our inbox yet. So, again, if you want those 2 free Noodles coupons, tell us the score of the last Eden Prairie Prior Lake game.
I'll give you a hint. It was a very round score if you're talking touchdowns.
Mm-hmm. I'll even give you another hint as well. It was, for most of the game, pretty lopsided, but Prior Lake made a bit of a comeback in the waning minutes to make it closer, so I don't know if that helps you at all.
I think it's better when you say all the touchdowns, the extra points were converted, and there were no other points scored, no field goals or safeties or anything.
We have a guess from Jane Doe, I guess wanting to remain anonymous, saying 21-3 Eden Prairie. Unfortunately, that one not quite right. We'll see if Brandon has the right answer right after this play.
Toe-tapping into the neutral zone. It reminds me of like the movie Dodgeball, you know, when they cross the line on one of those finishing throws. Number 9 got his toe across the line, Lucas Pumper.
Yeah, it's kind of like that, isn't it?
And it's an encroachment call, so another penalty on the Lakers. They're over 10 now as a whole. Again, those false starts we've more closely tracked, and that's up at 7.
Oh, Brandon, close on the score. He said 36-14. That didn't quite have it. Unfortunately, Al got the correct answer again, but I don't think we can let the same guy win twice, can we?
I don't know. That's your call.
All right.
Pass out to Carter Coughlin. He's off to the races. Stiff arms one, still on his feet. Tiptoes along the sideline and scores. 46-yard catch and run for the linebacker, bound for Minnesota Gophers.
The big guys have come to shine tonight for Eden Prairie. Let's take a look at it here on the replay. Good play fake there from the quarterback, Jackson Randall. A little screen over to Carter Conklin, and boy, he has some nice jets on that run. See on the replay as well, a great job to stay in bounds. So I think we can give him another coupon, don't you? Or maybe we could give away maybe an extra one to the next person who gets it right.
If Al gets them all,
yeah, right.
we'll just monopolize a game.
Well, we will have another trivia question, but we'll say Al is not eligible for the next one.
All right. I'm sorry, Al. Brett.
Yeah,
Brett's
I got to be a stickler here, but we'll give Al another one.
Well, you've got to deliver the answer. It's 35-21.
Oh,
Al had the answer.
All right, there you go.
He already said he got it. So congratulations again, Al.
Well, while we have another moment, do you have another trivia question for us, Kevin, that you can think of? I'm making you dig around in your stats now, aren't I?
How about another one? This is the one that first came to mind.
All
what was Eden Prairie's home winning streak before Edina beat them in 2012? How many consecutive games had Eden Prairie won before Edina ended it back in 2012?
All right, so that's your next question. Let's see if we can get someone besides Al to get the correct answer. He's been spot on tonight.
Kickoff return goes to the 21-yard line where the Prior Lake Lakers will try to yet again get their motors revved and come up with yet another rebuttal for seemingly each answer Eden Prairie has. Prior Lake responds, then Eden Prairie responds back. Unfortunately, if you're a Lakers fan, you're already in the hole by 2 scores.
How often have you ever seen an Eden Prairie game in the third quarter that's 43-29? Very high scoring
Not
affair.
often.
Yeah, exactly.
It's been a juggernaut matchup.
That it has.
And they've scored quickly. Like the Totino Grace Eden Prairie State Championship game, both offenses, it's intercepted by Spielman, and he's off to the end zone. That might seal it here on homecoming night for the Eagles. Prior Lake certainly has the ability to come back, but that was a dagger. A bad throw by Larson, and J.D. Spielman makes him pay.
Yeah, not really sure where Larson was looking to go on that throw. He's kind of throwing it up for grabs, and that's an easy pick for J.D. Spielman as he continues his march of all sorts of stats now as a defensive touchdown.
Extra point try is up, and it hits the crossbar.
Oh, wow.
That was easy to see for us.
I hit it with some
our
authority.
Point. Rattles it a little bit. 49-29 your score. Eden Prairie following the pick 6 on top of Prior Lake.
I really loved this book. Me too. What was your favorite part? The beginning? The beginning was good. Did anyone actually read the book?
I really like this wine.
You don't need a book club to drink wine with friends. Great wine and globally inspired food at Noodles & Company, your world kitchen.
Eden Prairie set to kick it off. Antonio Montero, after authoritatively booting it into the right upright, will kick this one into the end zone for another touchback. He's got a very strong leg, does the junior.
All right, Kevin, do you want to recap your question one more time? Then we can read some of those trivia answers.
Which, you want me to ask the question?
Yeah, ask the question again, yes.
Okay, so my question posed to you is how many consecutive games did Eden Prairie win at home before they ultimately lost to Edina back in 2012?
All right, so we have someone guessing 58 from Janet. And we don't have a buzzer sound for that one, do we?
No, but should we just do over-under on each of these guesses to help ballpark it for people?
Oh, we'll see if anyone gets it here out of these first few emails. And... oh, we have a winner. Scott comes up with the guess. 49 games.
And that's correct. Excellent job, Scott.
So, Scott, just look for an email shortly and we'll get your address so we can send you those Noodles and Company coupons. Unfortunately, we're out for tonight, but we will be giving some more away coming up in that Wyzetta game in 2 weeks.
Of course, if you can't wait the 2 weeks, we have them on discount. So a $10 Noodles coupon is the value you get, and you purchase them for just over $5 on our deals page. You can find that by just scrolling over on the top search bar and check out the search bar that says deals, and make your way over to that page and choose how many Noodles coupons you want, and we'll just deliver them to you.
Absolutely. That's our deals page on PSB.
That's the end of the third quarter. Prior Lake had some valiant efforts, but too many mistakes have them in a big hole now. 49-29. J.D. Spielman scoring in a variety of ways. His fourth touchdown of the night. A pick six for 23 yards caps off a strong third quarter for the home team. You're watching PSB.
The Sun Current is proud to be your community news leader for over 50 years. Each week you can read their in-depth coverage on local government, school district news, high school sports matchups, community events, and newsmakers. The Sun Current's website is now mobile user-friendly and provides breaking local news coverage daily. Check it out at current.mnsun.com.
Quick breaks between the quarters. Don't get a full minute tonight. And down on the sideline we have Brian Whitey for an update.
Down here on the field, the main focus for Eden Prairie right now is the defense. Talking about to the players about toughening up, hit someone. Don't let them get off the line and get ahead of steam coming down. You got to meet them. Don't let them come to you. So far, it's working out pretty. Last defensive drive. Back up to you guys.
Thank you, Brian. So 2 turnovers forced. Talking about the defense was Brian. And the Eagles, J.D. Spielman with the pick six. Also Dylan Warner with the fumble recovery. They certainly stepped up in some ways. Have allowed 29 points so far. As Larson finally brought down, he swims upstream like a salmon for the most part, but this time Warner and Young were able to hold on and bring him down.
I kind of like that comparison you just made there. Swimming like a salmon. Creative on your part.
Thank you. And again, want to thank all of you listeners for tuning in and those who submitted guesses for our Noodles coupon giveaway. Congratulations to Al a couple of times and Scott as well.
And again, we'll give those away coming up on the Wyzetta Eden Prairie game. Otherwise, you can buy them discounted on our deal store, psbmn.com/deals.
Got to figure out some more trivia questions.
Yeah, you're going to have some work to do the next couple of weeks to come up with some more trivia questions.
I thought the state one, this is my bias. Now, of course, all of you can disagree. I thought that was the best one I had. It's also an interesting stat, too. Pretty incredible as well.
Now, I know Grant Norland, our usual color commentary guy, is kind of sly. I wonder if he thinks he's eligible to win these.
Maybe.
I don't know. Well, he would be right next to you, so he could always be the first person to get the question correct.
Well,
if he's calling the game with us.
I don't have any of the questions' answers in front of me. So just as long as I wasn't telling you the answers, then he might not know the answers. Eden Prairie trying to milk clock at this point, up by 20. Randall still in at quarterback. Kyle Connolly, the lone split end. Handoff goes to Hetherington. busts loose and across the 50 for another first down.
What's interesting is that this has been a relatively close game, but the Eagles might end up with their season high in terms of points. Normally think you might reach your season high in one of the more lopsided type games like the Eagles had against Hopkins and also against Minnetonka last week, but it's been a high-scoring effort so far.
To do it, they would need just more than a touchdown. Season high was against Hopkins, 56-21 was the final there. At halftime, they were up 49-7. Normally a second-half team, Mike Grant eased off the gas pedal with his team pretty much ahead and the game decided. I would say a 42-point halftime lead, pretty much no one can come back from.
Yeah, that's awfully tough. Well, we're kind of slowing down in pace. I'll see if we can get some scores from the Football Hub, other West Metro District scores. If this one were to hold, Eden Prairie would pretty much be in position to clinch the district. The only other team that could catch them conceivably would now be Wayzata. They're the only other one-loss team left in the West Metro District. Prior Lake coming in also just had one loss in district play, but unless they have a miraculous comeback, they'll drop to 2 losses and move into 3rd place. It's kind of been the way the West Metro South is broken down, where you have, I think, your 4 teams that are kind of standing head and shoulders above everybody: Maple Grove, Eden Prairie, Prior Lake, and Wayzata. And there's quite a drop-off once you get down to the other teams. I guess I did forget, Maple Grove also has 1 loss in district play, but I don't think they could catch Eden Prairie, being that, of course, the Eagles have the tiebreaker on them with the victory in head-to-head matchups.
Jackson rolls out. He had a man open, and J.J. Drew, the tight end, was rolling out. Surprised maybe that Randall didn't air that one out. Instead rushes the football inside the 35, but either way, positive play and moves the chains.
I have a score from a couple of West Metro games. Wayzata is on top of Hopkins 33-17, and boy, I got to talk about Shakopee in just a second. After getting off to a rough start, they've been really impressive over the past few weeks. I'll give you their score against Edina in just a moment, but it's going to surprise some people.
Hetherington puts this one inside the 30-yard line.
How about this? Shakopee leads Edina 20-17 in the 4th quarter. That would be a major upset if the Sabres were to knock off the Hornets. And this one also may be a bit of a surprise as well. Maple Grove only on top of Minnetonka 14-7 in the 4th quarter of that ball game.
That is surprising. Especially the way Minnetonka played last week, and Maple Grove has played pretty much all season long. Hetherington tripped up, but able to stumble ahead. Maybe a gain of 1 for the senior fullback.
Yes, you could say all 4 games in district play at some point were very surprising, especially when this one was down to a 1-score ball game. And of course, you have Shakopee on top of Edina, Minnetonka, Maple Grove in a very close game. And Hopkins keeping it close somewhat with Wayzata down only 33-13.
Inside of 7 minutes to play, Randall the handoff to Hetherington, close to the first down as he flies ahead. Good blocks out in front. Number 77, Tristan Shaughnessy sprung open the hole on the fullback dive. It'll be just shy of the first down, but Eden Prairie leaves the offense out there going for it on 4th and inches.
Number 77, Tristan Shaughnessy.
And a first down recorded by Hetherington. Took 3 tries, but right, you said that when he scored his goal line touchdown, that if you give him the rock a few times and you just need a couple yards, he's guaranteed to get it, if not after 1 try. certainly 2 or 3.
Yeah, 4th and inches when you combine a strong runner like Alec Hetherington with Eden Prairie's offensive line, bringing in some bigger guys in those situations. It's almost unstoppable.
Hetherington stopped almost immediately. Johnson and 4 or 5 Prior Lake players stand him up. Gain of 1. Eden Prairie going to extend its winning streak to 36 consecutive games. Prior Lake will fall to 4-2 with losses against very quality opponents, Eden Prairie and Wyzetta, on their slate. Big credit goes out to them for their resiliency and their playmaking ability on offense and defense, forced a turnover in the early goings of Eden Prairie, and clearly putting up 29 points indicates that they can really pour it on against a pretty good defense. This is a season high allowed for the Eagles defensively.
And as we've brought up a couple times during the broadcast, if not for some snafus in the punting game in the first half, one led to a safety, and then they had another bad snap on a punt, which led to Eden Prairie gaining the ball on the 4-yard line. Be a very, very different ball game here at Aries Stadium. This Prior Lake team, very talented. It shows that they certainly could be among maybe the final 4 to 8 teams come state tournament time.
I agree.
And
that's all I have.
Yeah. I was going to say, well, I
Very
guess we have
astute,
another
right?
down moment. Yeah, it was very astute, as you said. Well, here's another astute point that some people might not be aware of, is that the Class 6A playoff format going under a dramatic change this season. No more sections coming up in the Class 6A playoffs. They're actually going to, I believe, seed everybody and just have a straight playoff regardless of sections. That's only in Class 6A where they're doing that. The rest of the classes will still have their usual section playoffs, but it could make things interesting if you have more of a seeded bracket where you could end up with some very strong quarterfinal and semifinal matchups.
Yeah, it could overall improve the matchups, as you said, and the performances thereof in the postseason.
But I'm sure teams like Prior Lake, Eden Prairie, Edina, Wyzetta, the like, happy about that, because during a straight section playoff, they'd all be in the same section.
Right. Yeah, you've got some of the most talented teams, not discounting the performances over in the East Metro or South Metro, but some of the strongest teams are all within this same district.
Getting a little sloppy here. Is that the first false start I think we've had against Eden Prairie in this game?
You might be right.
Yeah.
Very close. First or second for sure.
And going on the other hand, Prior Lake's done at least a little better job over the past quarter and a half or so limiting their false starts. They had 7 at one point, but I don't think they've had any since.
I actually tweeted, you can follow us on Twitter at PSBMN, as J.D. Spielman fakes the handoff, dances, and gets back a big chunk of the yardage they lost on the false start, down to the 12-yard line. That J.D. Spielman, tonight has scored a interception touchdown, receiving touchdown, and 2 rushing touchdowns this season, also contributing punt return and kick return touchdowns. So all he's got left to do, as we joked, is throw for a touchdown. David Levake of the Star Tribune actually replied to that and said, well, that's his goal.
He's got to do that, and I think he also has to kick a field goal. He probably has the leg if he's the punter.
I definitely agree.
Mm-hmm.
But the field goal, I feel like, they're both really hard to come by.
Yeah.
But situationally, is Mike Rank going to put J.D. Spielman in to kick a field goal?
Well, it's 4th and 3 right here.
I guess you could try it. But what I don't get is, to that point, on a 4th and 3, when your team has already won the game, How come it's bad form to kick a field goal, but it's not bad form to go for it on 4th down?
Yeah, you are kind of in no man's land. I mean, yeah, you don't want to just kneel the ball. That would, I think, somewhat show some disrespect to your opponent.
Yeah. But don't you agree with that? Like in the NFL, it's disrespectful to kick the field goal, so they always go for it. It's like, well, if we end up scoring the touchdown, we scored 4 more points than we would have. Whatever. Jackson Randall directing traffic, has an opening, and picks up the 1st down. He was trying to direct Carter Coughlin on a wheel route, and all the coverage followed the linebacker into the end zone, so Randall's like, wow, got plenty of daylight, I'll just run this for a 1st down.
Nice adjustment there by Carter Coughlin then to get on the block as soon as he recognized that Randall was going to run the ball.
That's the Randy Moss factor. Everyone on the field knew where Coughlin was. They're like, you're familiar. Normally on the defense, but you just burned us for a 45-yard touchdown, so we got to watch out.
Just another quick programming note, we will not be in Shakopee next week for the EP versus Shakopee game, just due to some connection restrictions we have in that area, usually not getting a very good internet connection, but we will be back in 2 weeks to have Eden Prairie versus Wyzetta right here on PSB. And that game likely will be for the district championship unless the Trojans were to lose during the next 2 weeks.
Hopefully not, so we can have a better matchup.
That's right. Well, I want to run down the scoreboard again. Let's see what we got. Lakeville North beats Apple Valley 28-7. And still looking at that Edina Shakopee game. That one's a shocker. Look at that. I worked that in. It was a shocker with Shakopee.
Yeah, except for the Sabres.
It's still kind of a nice play on words. You're not giving me any credit, are you?
There we go. I gave you a round of applause.
The Shakopee Sabres are shocking Edina. They're up 20-17. That game's still going on. Then the other surprise in the district is still Minnetonka only trailing Maple Grove 14-7. Dave Nelson certainly had his guys working on some things in practice after having a very tough performance against Eden Prairie last week. And it certainly paid off, keeping it very close with that good Maple Grove squad.
1st and goal from the 2. Hetherington stood up and driven back. Looks like number 47 able to make the stop. That's Sam Schlachter. I almost tongue-twisted myself trying to read an alliterative name. So 2nd and goal from the 2. Hetherington with 15 carries tonight. Mike Grant in the pregame interview said maybe have to give J.D. Spielman the football 30 times. Not quite, but a season high in rushing attempts and season high in touches with 16 and 19 respectively.
I think that almost doubles his season high in touches. Didn't you say his previous season high was something like just 9 carries in a game?
10, but yeah.
10, yeah.
And season high for catches in a game was 1, has 3 tonight.
That pace has certainly slowed down here in the 4th quarter. He had a really nice, crisp pace during the first 3 quarters, but obviously when you get in a 3-score game and the team up by 3 scores has the ball in the red zone, certainly changes things quite a bit. Well, we have another second. Do want to remind you that if you like your game streamed, especially if you're listening in Prior Lake or really anywhere, we can get your team on air at PSB Media. No matter the sport, we can get you on air. Hockey, baseball, football, basketball. Love to stream your games. Just shoot us an email and we'll definitely talk with you, see if we can work something out. Or, of course, if you have a non-sporting event, maybe a business webinar, a wedding, we also stream those as well. PSBMN.com is the place to contact us.
Bootleg run by Randall, sidesteps the defender, and has his first rushing touchdown of his varsity career. 55-29 now. Caps off a strong performance by these Eagles in front of their rabid hometown crowd.
Got a nice little move at the end of that run. Not a whole lot the Prior Lake defender could do, but Randall picks up that rushing touchdown. He's been running the ball a little bit more than he has in past games.
Yes.
He's got the Eagles on the verge of meeting their season high for points if they can make that extra point.
Can I be a Debbie Downer and say they'd tie it?
Yeah. Well, I said they'd reach it.
Oh, I thought you said beat it.
No.
Okay, well, I guess I'm deaf from when you sounded like a dinosaur eating popcorn. For you listeners at home, Brett was trying to eat popcorn with his mic still in
during a commercial break.
Mouth.
Yes.
Yeah. So he bit the mic instead of the popcorn.
It led to a very pleasant sound in your headset.
Yeah, very pleasant. It was a first world problem, right?
Yeah, that it certainly is.
You can't get the popcorn into your mouth because your mic's in the way. Randall's ready for the long snap. Holds it. Montero puts this one up and through. He's missed 2 extra points tonight. One was blocked and one he just pushed wide with authority off the right post. Again, this one true, so the Eagles tie their season high for points. Now lead Prior Lake 56-29.
There comes a time when even an all-star sister can use some assistance himself.
Do I need to be worried about identity theft? Everybody does. So that's when somebody tries to use my name? Uh-huh. My likeness? Yes, sir. Like if they try to look like me, but with a fake mustache? Yeah. And glasses? Yes, exactly. I think I'm gonna need some help with that.
When assisting is in your blood, you know it.
Shop and save with Brandy Warmbeer's State Farm Insurance Office in Eden Prairie. A local connection at a lower cost. BrandyWarmbeer.com.
Montero's kicking off on Prior Lake's side of the field. I'm not sure why you don't just let that one go into the end zone. Just wants to return it and doesn't even reach the 20-yard line, does the return man, number 20, Jacob Hitz.
Well, hey, you're down by 4 touchdowns. You might as well try for a big play. But, yeah, fundamentally you're probably right that it would be better just to take the touchback in that situation.
Since his last name, we've had plenty of bad jokes in the second half. Since his last name is Hitz, maybe he likes contact, and that's just why he had to field that.
That might be worse than my Shockers joke.
I'm not saying it's not. I might agree with you. It could be worse. But then again, another joke could still be worse. So I don't think it's the bottom of the barrel.
Well, it'll be 2nd and 7 as Prior Lake beginning their last drive of the game.
We'll see if they can end on a high note. 2nd down and 7 at the 17-yard line. Too many sevens there. Another run up the middle. Looks like they'll just be content to try to run out the clock as well. Good to see Jerome coming up and visiting. I know he's a dedicated listener to our broadcasts. Brett mentioned earlier we had the Connolly family, or the Connolly grandparents, visiting from Green Bay for this homecoming night. Chance to see Kyle perform. Of course, his older brother Ryan was the star of the 2013 team that went unbeaten.
They said he's a little bit more serious than his brother Kyle.
Yeah.
Ryan has the more serious gene. Kyle a little bit more of a joker.
I feel like that's true of the younger sibling, because I think I'm less serious than my older sister. Would you say you are as well?
Probably, yes.
We're the jokers, the problem children. Although I'm not really a problem child.
Decent run out there for the Prior Lake running back, picking up that first down. So again, next week we will not be streaming the Eden Prairie Shakopee game, but we will be back in 2 weeks doing the Eden Prairie versus Wyzetta game. We'll see if we can at least try to get you some Twitter updates throughout that EP Shakopee game through some different sources. You and I will actually be calling a different game. over at Holy Angels High School, getting a chance to see their team play.
Yeah, they've got lots of talent, some youngsters as well, leading the charge. And an all-purpose safety / wide receiver, not too different if you're talking about impact and ability he brings to both sides of the field when comparing him to a guy like J.D. Spielman. Of course, I would say he's not quite as talented, but impact still means a lot to a team leader.
Yeah, so again, next week we'll be doing that game instead. Brian Whitey, our sideline guy, will actually be on the call for that one, but should be a good matchup in 2 weeks, though, once we return to Eden Prairie football, and we have Wayzata coming into Aries Stadium. Up until 2013, Wayzata kind of had Eden Prairie's number in terms of regular season matchups.
Final couple of snaps. Pitch out goes to a seldom used backup, number 28, Jordan Johnson. And he'll move the chains past the 43-yard line. 13 seconds left, and seems like both these two teams content to let the clock run out. Eden Prairie will win its 36th consecutive game on homecoming night. They do so in a variety of ways. Prior Lake battles hard, but shoot themselves in the foot a little bit, and Eden Prairie's playmaker J.D. Spielman assures the home crowd this savory taste of victory. You've been watching PSB Media's coverage of Eden Prairie and Prior Lake High School football. We'll come back for the quick Sun Current postgame show after this. Kid was trying to talk.
Stay current on what's going on in your local community. The Sun Current is a local community newspaper that serves several communities in the Southwest Metro, including Eden Prairie, Edina, and Bloomington. The Sun Current will keep you up to date with the latest comings and goings on your school board, city council, arts and entertainment, and community events. And make sure you check out their in-depth high school sports coverage featuring weekly articles on Eden Prairie, Edina, Jefferson, and Kennedy. From football and hockey to tennis and swimming, the Sun Current has your favorite team covered. Keep it local and visit the Sun Current website at current.mnsun.com.
Eden Prairie wins 56-29 as you see on our scoreboard. This is the Sun Current postgame show brought to you by the Sun Current of Eden Prairie, bringing you community news and sports for more than 30 years. So check out latest stories, articles, and features, including articles about these Eagles football team as well as other fall sports. Go to current.mnsun.com. That's current.mnsun.com. The Sun Current of Eden Prairie. Prior Lake got a good start to this football game, but too many false start penalties, some turnovers, kind of mixed in throughout, and the J.D. Spielman show yet again for the fourth straight week proved to be the difference in this one, as Eden Prairie, in a bit of a slugfest, walks away victorious for the 36th consecutive time. Spielman, 2 rushing touchdowns of more than 30 yards. He's now got 4 or 5, maybe even 6 touchdowns this season of at least 30 yards. And we're talking just receiving and rushing, because obviously you factor in the punt returns, interceptions, and kickoff returns as well. They've gone for much further. Jimmy Larson was solid in defeat, but just didn't have enough answers in the second half. A couple of turnovers, an errant throw that J.D. Spielman returned for 6 kind of proved to be the capper in allowing Eden Prairie to win this one. Spielman, probably, you would agree, our player of the game. Well over 170 yards rushing, 60 yards receiving, and 4 touchdowns if you include the interception.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a pretty easy call to make as the player of the game. Had that defensive touchdown as well, as he just continues to take his game to another level this season.
Appreciate you all tuning in and for participating in our Noodles Coupon giveaways. Congratulations one more time as we prepare for this weekend, a beautiful one at that. To Al and Scott, our trivia winners. We'll mail out those Noodles coupons to you in the coming days. Be sure to tune in 2 weeks. We'll have the last regular season game coverage for Eden Prairie fans as they host the Wayzata Trojans in what could be a district championship preview. Again, we won't have coverage next Friday of the Eagles and Shakopee game. For Kevin Ford, Brett Johnson, Brian Whitey, I say so long, good night, and happy homecoming if you're an Eagle fan. You're victorious tonight, 56-29.
All right.
Thanks for tuning in to live, local, play-by-play coverage of tonight's game. Catch all the action all season long on your home for Southwest Metro Sports, PSB Media. Tonight's game was brought to you by The Mulch Store, Brandy Warmbeer's State Farm Insurance Office, Athlete PT, Noodles and Company of Eden Prairie, The Sun Current, The Tavern on 4 and 5, and in partnership with Minnesota Football Magazine and BEC TV. You can find an archived broadcast of tonight's game available 24/7 on PSBMN.com.